TGIF. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. I know you are ready for the weekend to begin. So, welcome to the Just Ask Char advice channel. We will be getting started very soon. So get comfortable, get ready, and relax. We sincerely thank you all for your support. This channel is sponsored by you, the subscribers. When you want to hear another perspective for yourself or a friend, then just send an email for advice to justaskchar@gmail.com. All right, we are ready to get this show started. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. There will always be a perspective or some advice that someone can benefit from and use. Now, here's your host of the show, Char Willie.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. TGIF, everyone. What is going on? What's happening? Did you have a great week? It warmed up, so you should have. People are coming out. It was the first of the month. People had bills to pay. The weather had improved. It got warmer right after the holiday. All these things that occurred within the last 7 days. So surely you had a great week. I sure hope you did. But my week has been pretty good. I try to make every day count. I try to have a list of goals to do, or even weekly goals. Like, okay, I want to do this, clean this out, put this up, change this, or whatever the goals are. And that's what I try to do. I think about them like, okay, maybe I'll do the toughest thing or the thing that I dislike doing first. And everything else will fall in place. It becomes easier, right? Is that normally how it goes? I think so. But yeah, it had warmed up because last Friday, I remember telling you guys that someone had stole like 40 or 50 degrees of our temperature. It was because I was thinking about turning on the air conditioning. And that was like Monday. By Friday, it's 40 degrees. I'm like, I need some heat. And it was so cool. And we had like at least 3 days of 40 some degrees weather that the heat did come back on. They did turn the heat on. So they knew what was up. We pay enough rent and stuff. Hey, give us our heat. We want the heat. We need our heat. But other than that, what's going on? We got bonnets being talked about. I don't know what the world is going on with that. Everywhere I look, there's a bonnet. If it wasn't a glitch, it's a darn bonnet. I'm like, what is going on with this bonnet? It's been used all the time. People have ignored it or talked about it, which depends on the channel, depends on what's going on in the news, who got caught doing what. But a lot of people making a big thing out of it. It hasn't given me any money, so really don't care about all of that. Maybe it's making somebody some money. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with a lot of the celebrities. It comes across the news feed after that. I really don't care. If I can't use it for Saturday for article reaction, I just kind of keep going past. It's just not that important to me. Yeah. And let's see, last thing, what else is happening? I'm seeing people wear masks less people wearing masks now. I have been noticing that. I've been seeing actually faces. You know how long it's been since you've seen an actual face? I'm like, that's a nose. That's a lip. Those are lips. It's been such a long time. You just don't see it. But I'm still wearing mine, and I'm gonna keep on wearing it for another couple of years. I'm not trusting what's going on here. I'm just not. I got to be careful, and you should too. Don't get too relaxed that you don't think there's something that's going on out here. Please protect yourself. Last thing, and I think I might have said the last thing, but I just thought of it, and I did want to mention it. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. I thought it was so funny when the topic was about people contacting you when they want something. And I know we've all experienced it. You don't get it a whole lot, but you do get it. And then again, it depends on how large your family is. So if you have a large family, then it probably happens more often than not. But I've always experienced it at work. I was in the workplace. Somebody stopped at my desk that don't stop at my desk. You know why? Because people, they'll greet you and everything, but they'll observe what you do and what you have. And if they need something, they like, I know she probably have an extra spoon or knife or napkin, stapler, something, whatever. But I don't give it up that easily. I gotta torture you. So what I'll do is, as soon as you say, hey, I say, hey, how you doing? So before you get a chance to ask anything, because normally they don't ask after hello and how are you doing? They'll come up with one more thing, then they'll ask. So that's the key. Keep that in mind. So I'll go into, I'm doing fine. How are you? You know what? I know, all this time I've been sitting here. I don't think you have ever stopped at my desk. You know it now that I think about it. We speak in the morning, but I have never seen where you have stopped at my desk. I can't recall. Can you? Hmm. So if you stopped at my desk, what's the chances that you want something? You don't want anything, do you? And then they'll blush, giggle, giggle, giggle. I said, oh, I'm onto something, huh? Oh. So the joke in office with me was I charge $10 for everything. So normally when people ask me for something, I'm like $10. You have an extra stamp, $10. You got an envelope, $10. It doesn't matter what it is. Envelope, I don't care. I'm charging $10 and I want it on payday. So they'll joke around with me and stuff. But if they don't pay me the $10, then I just don't give them anything. I just stop. I'm like, well, get it somewhere else then. I'm making it convenient. One-stop shopping. How can you come to work and you don't have things you need? You spend so many hours there and you have a desk that you can lock things up. And you didn't think about an extra napkin, utensils, anything? But you know who you did think of? The one who you always see that always seemed to have it. Because I always used to get extra stuff. That's how I was. Doesn't mean I didn't need it, but I had it. And if I got too much of it, I bring some of it home. So I was always prepared. Got to be like a Girl Scout. You got to be prepared. And speaking of preparation or being prepared, without further ado, you guys know who we're going to bring on the show, don't you? I know you know. So let me get her intro together. I know she likes it, so we got to play it for her. So without further ado, guys, you know what to do. Stand up, clap your hands, wave your hands up in the air, get ready. Bring on the lovely, the classic, the beautiful.
Stay down there, girl. Stay down there.
Classic Ruby, everybody. Classic Ruby.
Stay down there, gal. Stay down there. You see, you heard the urgency with the second one, right? Never gets old. I love it. It's like it fills my soul with joy. TGIF for real, Char. How you do this evening? How you do?
I am well. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. You know, I was thinking about what you were saying with the masks and the covering of the faces and stuff, and I have an issue. It's really weird. So I don't actually technically have a hearing problem, technically. But for some reason, I have an issue if I'm looking at something. So if it's TV or a person in real life, I have an issue with hearing them. Like if I'm processing both at the same time, I have to be able to either read your lips or if it's on TV, read the words. I don't know why. Like it's like I can't hear it properly without that. So the mask thing, I know, right? So the mask thing is a problem for me because I can't read your lips because your whole face is covered in a mask. And I find it like it's almost terrifying because people are talking to me, right? And I'm like, I don't know what you said. I don't. I know it sounds stupid, y'all. I know because I hear just fine on the panel, but it's because I'm not seeing the people I'm talking to, right? I don't know. It's something really weird. So I will be very happy when that happens and I can finally go back to reading lips and pretending I'm normal like everyone else. Yeah. So it's going to be good. You know, 2027. I have it marked on my calendar. The pandemic will be over. It'll be good.
Shoot, it might be. I said I'm wearing my mask. I know the 2023. I don't care. I done bought me a couple of extra ones. I have it one with my initials on it. I'm not playing. Got CW right there in the corner. I kid you not. I might even post it and put it on something. Put it on the screen or something.
That's what I'm saying. I already have my happy 40th birthday mask. You know what I mean? Because I figure I'm going to need it for my 40th birthday in 3.5 years. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're prepared because I am positive. Like people feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I just don't. I just don't. I don't know. I just feel like the world has changed now. Like when you watch zombie apocalypse movies and it's just like this now, or like you have to wear a face mask to go outside because you can't breathe the air. It's just like that now. That's how I feel about these masks. Like, it's just like that now. We just wear masks. It just is.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's why I say guard yourself. Just because they announce, oh, everyone, you don't have to. No, I'm going to wear it. I'm good. I'd rather have it than not.
And for y'all ladies, have I got a Karen for you? This Karen's very useful. She's going to tell you what to do in a pinch if you need a mask, but forgot to bring one. So it's going to be great. Just wait till tomorrow. Just wait. Y'all will be very, very pleasantly surprised.
Oh, that would be cool. You know, we haven't played a commercial in a minute, and that's only because we've been having different channels. I mean, not different channels, a different panel discussion. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it on the way out. So I'll go ahead and show you guys an article reaction. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you an article reaction. So, hey, just to remind you, 6:30 Central Standard Time here. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. Well, we'll play this one. I think this is cute.
Hi, this is Char Willie from the JustAskChar.
You know what? That's not it. That's JustAskChar. That's not
It's like that was fast.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not it. Okay. Here we go. Article reaction.
folks, it's your nighttime, it's your right time DJ Music. Make sure you join Char Willie each and every Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, for Article Reaction, right here on your local YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to Article Reaction.
Nice. Guys,
Right.
it's a blast. I'm telling y'all, if you're brand new, because you know the awesome panels brought you in and whatever, you're gonna have a blast. You gotta come by. And you know what, trust me, Char's gonna surprise you. She always surprises me every week. It's gonna be good.
And I try to save you some money. I be trying. I be looking for something to let you know.
That's true.
That's important too. Gotta
Oh,
help
yeah.
our people. Helps the peoples.
If only you could help us Canadian people. We poor up here in the north too. Help, Char, help.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna see if I find something for Canadians as well.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you.
All right. So what we have a video today. Because I don't have a letter. You guys, as I said, it doesn't have to be you. It can be a friend, family, somebody. Situation. Give me an email at JustAskChar@gmail.com, and we'll discuss the letter and give an answer. Yeah. Don't be shy. Do not be shy.
Okay. We're very nice, mostly.
Yeah, most times. Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, but we are though. We really try to come up with an answer, not just going in circles, talking the same thing over and over again. That's one
Right.
thing I do not like doing. I don't like asking the same questions, just a different way, week after week, year after year, decade
Right.
after decade. It's just not something that I like. I like to solve problems, give you at least 4 or 5 things to chew on, and you can come up with something, you know?
Right. And like, I think two great things are, number one, it's not just limited to, Char's opinion or Ruby's opinion, because, it's an open panel. So anyone can come up and, give their 2 cents. But I like it because I don't see this around very often. You kind of get almost everywhere else, you get like this cookie cutter advice. And so they try to make the advice fit your situation. We don't do that here. We actually listen to your situation and then try to give advice or feedback or some wisdom based on your specific situation, instead of trying to make you fit into the cookie cutter. So, I mean, and that, for me, that's always been more helpful than the cookie cutter stuff, because I've always felt like, no, that doesn't quite fit me. I need this one extra piece of dress, guys, right? And we do that over here.
Right. And before we get started, I see Don Teasy is harassing me already. So I'm just going to give him his first warning. Just the first one. Okay. All right. Okay. So this guy, he got some alpha male listing, and yeah, we'll play it. And it's a little long, so I'll probably stop it halfway. I'll do my best. I might get excited and like, did you hear that? So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We'll see. I can't promise you, but we'll see. All right, here we go. Where's the page? There you go. Volume.
Case is Love versus Sanders.
Thank you, Juan. Cause of love.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have brought Mr. Jamal Sanders
Yes, Your Honor.
to court today. The two of you have been in a relationship for 3 years. You have one child together. He's 13 months old. But now you said things are rocky and things have gotten really bad between the two of you. You want to discuss it in divorce court today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
I'll
Your
start
Honor.
with you, ma'am. Give me some background.
Your Honor, I'm here because this trifling man has caused me so much pain. He stressed me out. He's always trying to control me. He's always accusing me of looking at other men. I'm over. I can't live my life. It's like every time I go somewhere, I have to look on the floor. He's done so many things. Let me tell you what happened. One time we was at the grocery store. We were walking down the aisle and I was grabbing cheeses. And he accused me of looking at a supposedly swole man on that aisle, and I didn't even see the man. I literally grabbed my stuff, put it in the cart, and went to the next aisle.
Well, Mr. Sanders, what do you have to say? Give me some background on why you think you're here, and then you can respond to that.
Okay, the reason I'm here is because she thinks I'm insecure, but really, it's always something she does, and she always say she's not doing that, but I see you doing this. So it's like, why are you lying? You know what I'm saying?
So when she was at the grocery store getting her Cheez-Its, you're saying that she was looking at somebody else who was swole?
Right.
He
was a little bit buffer than me, just a little bit. You know?
Okay, but if I'm with you. I wasn't looking at him.
You think she has a wandering eye?
Yes, I do.
Now, Miss Love, you say that is not the case, but
No,
you're
it's
always
not.
being accused. So the
Yes.
Cheez-Its was one incident. Tell me about another time you say he acted insecure.
Okay, so me, him, my sister, and my niece, we all went out to eat at a restaurant that me and him frequent. We always go there. And we were, there's a guy who works there. I guess he's like, he cleans up and he's a waiter. He came as, is the food, everything okay? And we're like, yeah, we're good. And he keeps walking past. And then Jamal accuses me and says, well, what do y'all have going on? Why does he keep looking at you? And I was like, what do you mean? We don't have nothing going on. I don't even know this person. He works here. And then he's like, well, excuse me, come here, and tells the dude to come to the table and says, what you got going on with my girl? Stop looking at her. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, this is so embarrassing. My sister is here. We're eating out. This is embarrassing. I don't even want to go here anymore.
Mr. Sanders, did you think she had something going on with the server at the restaurant?
I'm going to put it like this. I ain't blind. I can see everything. So, you know what I'm saying? He has the whole other restaurant to clean up, but instead, you right at the table with her. You know what I'm saying? Wiping the table as soon as I come out the bathroom.
I mean, wiping the table is his job.
It is his job. But I feel like...
You're saying the timing of him wiping the table was suspect to you.
It was suspect. And also, every time we come in the restaurant, I see him, giving her the look. Like, look at her. You know what I'm saying? She
right.
is
So if
attractive.
guys look at her, she's an attractive woman. It's going to happen.
Right.
But you're saying that you thought maybe there was something more to it.
Right.
And you don't think this is just in your head a little bit at all?
It might be. You never know.
Oh, it might be.
It might be.
It's definitely in his head. Your Honor, he's done so many things. First of all, he even got a secret paternity test on our child.
What do you mean secret?
Behind my back. I had no idea he even got it. What originally happened was, first, I was working with a coworker, and this coworker called my phone, and he picked up my phone. He says that the dude said that me and him have been having sex, and that was not true. And I'm like, what? And
did your coworker really say that?
My coworker actually did say that.
Why would your coworker say that about you?
My coworker liked me, but I told him that I was dating Jamal and I didn't want to be with him. So I guess when he heard a man on the phone, he took that opportunity to sabotage me, but I never had sex with him. The thing is, because I was pregnant at the time, he went and took that as, okay, maybe this is not our child, and kept accusing me, saying that's not even my son. And then after the baby came, he got a secret paternity test behind my back.
Excuse me.
Was it your child?
Yes, it was my child.
Why'd you get a secret paternity test?
Because I felt like this might be his kid. See, now, let me tell you the story how it went on my end.
You believed the coworker?
Over
yes,
me. Right.
I believe the coworker at the moment. Now, okay.
But you don't believe him now?
I don't believe him now.
You think he lied to you?
I think he lied.
You know he lied to you now. Correct?
Yes, he lied.
Has your girlfriend ever stepped out on you in your relationship to your knowledge? Or you have suspicions?
I have suspicions.
She's never actually done it. Am I right?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Better be careful, sir, because sometimes you push too hard, you might get what you suspect.
You're right. But I feel like this, Your Honor. Now, with that whole story, okay, I was dropping her food off at her job. Now, he was staring me down the whole time.
And somebody else now staring you down.
Yes. So I'm looking back at him like, why he's looking at me like this. She says, I don't know. So 2 days later, she get a phone call while she's in the restroom. Some told me to answer the phone, so I answered the phone. When I answered it, I said, hello. He hung up. So I text back, why you hang up? He said, because my B didn't pick up the phone. I said, you're B, so I guess she's mine as well. We're sharing tonight. He said, I've been cheeks. You just playing Captain Save 'em. Now, so if somebody tell you that, you know what I'm saying, what are you going to think?
when you read a message like that, there's no part of you that thinks that he's just trying to antagonize you, because that's what it sounds like to me.
Right.
So you find out that's not true, but these incidents keep happening.
Yes, there's a lot more, and he's also verbally abusive towards me. I'm over him. I'm very much over him.
That's a
What
lot
happened
wrong.
was he took me to go get my hair done, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I got my hair done, looking cute. You know, you want to look cute for your man, right? So I got my hair done, and then when I go back out to the car, he says, "Oh, you look ugly." I'm like, "What? I look ugly? Like, I know I'm not ugly." So he said I look ugly, and I'm like, "Where is this coming from?" Like, all of a sudden you start trying to put me down, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Listen, Your Honor, the reason I did that was because, I did my research on this thing called alpha male strategies. I even brought it to you today.
So you calling her ugly was a part of your technique?
Yes.
And you still in this relationship?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's apologized, but I realized it's not worth it. And I kind of try to stay because I wanted my son to have, father figure around. But I realized we can co-parent. I don't have to be there.
Not when he's calling his mama ugly.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
sir, let me see your, okay, you have a name to the list.
Right.
Alpha tactic list.
Right. Number 1, it says, don't beg for sex. Alpha males, we don't beg for sex. You know what I'm saying? I'm an alpha. I'm sorry, 2, we don't tolerate disrespect. Like, it's been several occasions where, she would blatantly start talking to me any kind of way.
So you have on this list, talk down to her at all times.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous.
Make sure they give you money. Don't give compliments. Yes. Don't give validation.
Right.
Don't be a beta. So if you go by this list, you obviously don't want to be a boyfriend either.
Exactly. I can
tell you right now, number 10 should be, how long after I start this list does my girlfriend leave?
All right, so I'll pause there. We're halfway through. And I'll drop stop laughing. I'll drop the, you got to be serious, girl. I have a serious face.
Girl, I can't. Okay, sorry. Okay.
And I'll drop the link in the chat room. Okay, so, darn, move out the way. Okay, there it is. So, music, I'm going to mention, you asked about coworkers having phone numbers. With a lot of the jobs, I would say I've had since 2016, the type of work that we've had, we had to communicate with one another. We would cover for each other. So we do exchange phone numbers. I'll just say after 2014, from I can remember, we would exchange phone numbers.
Right.
That's the climate now. So I do understand the question, but that is something that's normal. Just to throw that out there.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. I have to start at the very beginning. This sounds like the most paranoid and insecure man who is with a woman he knows is far out of his league. He can't even believe somehow or another she keeps sleeping with him. Oh my God, I got this beautiful woman pregnant that I don't even deserve. That's what he sounds like, because all of his evidence sounds crazy. Okay? You finally, for probably the first time in his whole entire life, gets a hot girl. Okay? If you are a hot girl, or if you've ever been with a hot girl, you have hot girl friends, so you know this. When women are very attractive, they get a lot of attention when they go out in public. People look at them. People make excuses to do something so they can look at the hot girl. And somehow, this delusional, paranoid man thinks that because the kid at the restaurant is making excuses on wiping down the tables closest to them so he can get a look at the hot girl, that she must be dating that man. She must be sleeping with that man behind his back. Like, that is the most irrational, illogical leap I've ever heard. Like,
well, we're going to say just one thing, because I know more people are going to come, and then we still have a lot to go. So we'll make that your one thing about the hot girl. I'm going to point out that he mentioned that the guy was swole a little bit swoller than him. So now the person that he's accusing her of looking at, he's comparing that guy to himself. So I want to point that out. So there is some insecurity there. And welcome to the panel, Vonda. What would you like to add before we continue?
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, Ruby.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Okay, so I'm looking at this alpha tactic list, and the first one is number 1 says, don't beg for sex. Okay, I can agree with that. Don't tolerate disrespect. Hey, I see absolutely no problem with that. I agree with that one as well. Then you get to number 3, always be the bad boy. Number 4, make her beg for you. Ooh. Number 5, talk down to her all the time. This car is not only screeching on the road, it's like running off of the road. It's like, okay, he started out great with this list, and then the list immediately went way bad. In my opinion, the tactics are completely wrong. And when you're dealing with an insecure person, you're dealing with an unreasonable person. I don't care who you are, how great you are, what your record is. If you're dealing with an insecure person, you are dealing with an unreasonable person. And this is something you have to understand. And there's nothing that you can say to that person that's going to put reason into them. Because there's a sense of insecurity that they have, and they have to reconcile that insecurity.
Right.
True that. All right. So I'll play the rest, and let's see what we come up with here.
So much.
Take your notes. Take your notes.
Yeah. Oh, I have them.
Talk down to her at all times. That's why you called her ugly after she got her hair done?
Exactly. That was the reason.
You thought this was actually going to work for you and your relationship.
The reason why I did that.
I guess it does if you date someone who does not have any self-esteem, or you're trying to undermine their self-esteem because you feel so insecure about yourself.
See, Your Honor,
you stand in front of me 6 foot tall, but you're really this big on the inside. If you think this is the way you're supposed to treat a woman.
Right. See, that's not the exact way I thought.
You came up with the list. I'm going by your list.
It was what I researched.
I didn't even know he had this list. I didn't know he was following these strategies, because I'm like, why is he being so rude? Where's all this coming from? And to me, honestly, you are a beta, because what real man would put their woman, who is the mother of their child, through all of this?
Your Honor, the reason why I did this was because I felt like every girl likes the bad boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that's what she liked, So that's why I came up with this.
What happened when you called her ugly when she got in the car?
She started crying.
Okay. Okay, so that's not what she likes. Because what you're really doing with this alpha male nonsense is masking.
That's also not fully true. You know what I'm saying? Because there were also times where, like, for instance, we was at the pool party. She has, on a one-piece bathing suit. It comes with a topper, the skirt. So she see her friend in her thong bathing suit, dancing or whatever. Okay. She go get a plate of food. She come back with the plate of food. Pretends, I see her hand goes like this. She do a hand like this. She flipped the plate onto her skirt. You know what I'm saying? To get the food. Oh, she say, oh, now I got to take it off. So now, you at the pool with everything out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of uncomfortable, because I feel like if you're my lady, it's not for the whole.
It's not about you.
It's not the whole party.
It's not about you. She at the pool. She got on a bathing suit. It's not about you right now.
Right.
And I'm saying this in the context of everything I've heard today. So you think she intentionally spilled her plate of food on herself so she could take off a skirt?
Yes.
I definitely did not. I think he's just overreacting. He does too much. He even threatened me to give him money, or he would leave me and my child and not be in my child's life. And I feel like, how can you do that as a father? I mean, really? So now I'm supposed to give you, he said, $500 or he will never speak to me or be in my child's life again.
So
And
that's
that
what
is
it's worth?
a problem.
That's what it's worth, Mr. Sanders? $500 to you? What is that, $500 a month?
No, it was just a one-time $500 fee.
So that's what it's worth to you?
It's not.
You asked her for $500 or you would never speak to her or the baby again?
I just did that because, you know, she came up on the list.
Because it's on the list. You going by the list?
Right.
The biggest bunch of nonsense I ever heard in my life.
Right.
Now get yourself together. You're a father now to a 13-month-old son.
He's so insecure. Like when I just moved into my apartment, I invited him over. I said, you know, you can come over and stay for a little while for like a week so you can spend time with your son. So what happened was he left to go do Uber or whatever. I call him. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I call him and I'm just like, hey, are you okay? You know, because I'm about to go to bed. And then he comes home with a baseball bat, like creeping around in the dark. I'm thinking somebody broke into my house. And I'm like, what are you doing? He said that he assumed that because after I called him, his friend, close friend, called him saying, hey, bro, what you doing? So now he assumed that me and the dude was having sex at my place.
Because of 2 phone calls?
Because of 2 phone calls.
Mr. Sanders?
You gotta understand, I've been heartbroken before. You know, so
we all have.
Right, but the past relationship.
Say la vie. That's life.
Right.
So what does that mean? You've been heartbroken before. So you show up with a baseball bat
right
at your girlfriend's house because you think you're gonna catch her with somebody simply
run.
Based on a phone call with your friend?
Home run. I was about to send him up out of there, you know. But I was, due to my past situation which was before her, you know, it scarred me coming into the relationship.
I'm really over it with him. I just want everything to be on the table. There was one time that he took his whole entire check because he posted a picture of himself in front of somebody else's car. It's a luxury car. So he went and posted on Instagram and said, you know, some type of caption, everybody in the comments saying, oh, hey, big, let me ride in that. Oh, that's not yours. And he was like, that's mine. You know, that's mine. And it's not his car. So what he did was go and actually spend his whole entire check, $1,600, and had a luxury rental car and try to show off. And then he had the audacity to ask me for gas money that week because he had all his money.
This does not surprise me. You perpetrating and posing for your friends because you're always looking for a way to stroke your ego and make yourself feel better about you. $500. You say that was the price for you to walk in or out of his life. That's something that you have to rectify in your own moral compass, sir. That's something you have to deal with it internally. But as for you, don't ever stay in a relationship where you are being mentally and emotionally abused for the sake of your child, because all you're going to do is normalize that in front of your child. And they're going to think this is okay. This is acceptable. The way my mother is being treated is right. And it is not.
Should have, you know, did the right thing by her. Don't leave me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord.
It's already over.
Okay.
Can we start over?
I'm sorry, I can't.
What you mean you can't?
I have to love myself more, and I can't.
People believe in second chances. You should too. Why not?
Baby, you already had 10 chances. These aren't gonna work.
No, she said
you can always come see your son. I'm never closing that door, but it's with me, it's closed.
You had 10. You can't have 11. Okay.
And that was 9 too many, if you ask me.
Sure, I already know your limit was what? 1.5. Okay.
1.5.
I'm done.
You be quiet, Dantees. I don't want to hear it. Else you know what's next.
You know Dantees gonna have something to say.
But I understand her because she had a child with the guy and she was willing to try to stick it out and work it out with him. She said it herself, and I understand that. But unfortunately, it was too much going on. And I'm wondering how it was before because he said he did the research. That's how he said. He said, I did research. And when he did the research, he came up with this tactic list. And that's when everything just went to hell.
And that list was it was poor, it was horrible, it did not work for his situation. And I hope he learns from this, but who knows? Maybe he'll just say, oh, it was all her fault. She left a good man, when actually he may have lost a good woman.
Well, and that's the thing, though. I mean, and not to call people out here, but I've been saying this for a long time. I've actually spoken to some content creators and I've said, listen, you in your head, your purpose is very clear to you. People who've been following you for 5 years, who listen to every single word that you've ever said, very clear what your purpose are. But the new stragglers who wander in, not clear at all. They don't know. And you don't announce it at the start of every show or every clip you make or whatever. Right? So in this case, he announced to what it was. He said alpha male strategies. Okay, well, it could be that content creator or it could be someone in that realm. Either way, normally from what I've noticed, right, they do dating pickup artist type stuff, right? This is not for relationships. It's for you to be able to try to get sex, right? To be able to get maybe a date with a woman. They're not strategies for how you maintain a long, happy, loving relationship with someone, right? It's not the strategies for once you find the right woman. These are the strategies when you've been sitting there and you're basically an incel. Or maybe you're a virgin altogether and you don't know how to get a woman, and they're saying, hey, listen, these are some lowbrow tactics, but it'll get you some. I don't know with what kind of woman, but it'll get you some.
But
right?
It seems to me like he already had the woman and he freaking ran her away when he implemented these stupid, ignorant tasks.
Exactly. But that's what happened.
She was already there.
Yep.
The hell. Yep. And then he started telling her, oh, you look ugly today. That is not going to get you any points. I don't care who you are, where you're sitting, what's going on. What lesson are you trying to teach a woman by telling her, not a woman, but your woman? Mind you, not just any woman, but your woman. What lesson are you trying to teach her by coming out your mouth to say, you look ugly today?
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, the tactic is, because I know what the tactic is. So the tactic is, right, is that women think very highly of themselves, and especially if you're with an attractive woman, they're used to being told how beautiful they are and so on and so forth, right? So they find that boring. There's not much appeal in all the guys who worship them. So you want to be the opposite, right? A, you want to be the bad boy, and B, you want to be unimpressed with them. And so you chip away at her self-esteem. This was actually in that show Nip Tuck. And the surgeon that sleeps around all the time, he actually said this too at the start of the show. You chip at their self-esteem, and now you're the first person who's telling them they're not perfect or they're ugly or this and that. And so sure, you hurt them, but now they're desperate to try to become something good in your eyes. So it makes them kind of latch on to you. That's what the tactic is. And so again, this is not for loving, happy relationship, for a good girl that you found, right? Mm-hmm. This is a tactic to get sex from hot girls you don't really care about from the club, right? Like that's, but no one told him that.
Oh my God.
No one told him that.
He said he did research though. That's what he said. Didn't you hear him clearly? He said, I did research.
Now,
now let me say this here. Now, when he he did the sneak paternity test, that one, hey, I can't fault him for that one.
Throw the dice up against the wall. I agree, Char. I'm just like, you know what? My thing is that those types of tests are available, and if a father or a parent wants to, do something like that without the knowledge of the other parent, they can do it, and it happens. And you know what? If you weren't outside your body doing some stuff you weren't supposed to, it wouldn't matter what he did and who he tested and how he tested them. The kid's gonna always come back his. So it really doesn't matter. But then you do want to think about, okay, well, damn, if he really doesn't trust me. But then you have to look at the totality of the relationship. Am I giving him anything to trust? Let's not just put it all on him. Is she like leaving things, and here I am, inserting my Ruby into things. But is she like leaving the door open for him to even think that there could be something going on with this other dude? Or is this dude just being way, super insecure?
It could be when it came to that, but I don't blame him. when it came. I'm sorry that I don't blame him. Now I understand because he verbalized. He said, I was hurt. I haven't finished dealing with my past relationship. So he was honest about it. But I do understand because there's too much going on when it comes down to this paternity. So I don't blame him on that.
I do. And I'll tell you why I blame him. I don't blame him for wanting the paternity test or getting one. In fact, I am someone who says when people say, oh, it should just be an automatic thing at the hospital, I actually agree with that. My issue is about him sneaking around behind her back, right? Because obviously he's been doing research. By doing research, he probably means he's been watching a lot of videos. So he's finding out, maybe for the first time, right, that paternity frauds going on all over the place and this and that, whatever. It makes him feel a little bit scared and paranoid, right? To me, what he could have done to show in that moment where he's at, he could have approached her and said, listen, babe, I know that you and me, we got a great thing and you're a wonderful girl. I'm not trying to make any insinuations about that, but okay, I'm going crazy because I've been watching all of this stuff. It would make me feel a lot better if I just had the paternity test, just so I have 100% confirmation, or my uncle, my mom are on my case about it. So it would just make me feel better if we could just go get that confirmation. I know it's going to come back okay. So there's a way you can still kind of phrase it, but be upfront. And I think he should have been upfront and honest.
He doesn't have those kind of skills, Ruby.
Welcome,
obviously not. And hello, BCS.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Right.
The thing is that I don't know whether this is a real case or not. Okay, because I don't think it's a real case because the class mismatch is too far. You can see that. If he got a GED, he's lucky. He barely got it, right? And she sounds like close to at least a college graduate. Okay, class mismatch is way too broad. Okay, unless they went way back in like middle school, start going together. Okay, that class is too big of a class mismatch, and you don't have to watch a video to talk about paternity tests because because the women folk will look at that baby and say, oh, you need to go get this tested. So he don't have to look at video because they happened to my nephew. His second child, supposedly his second child, right? He sent a picture. We looked at the picture. Go get it tested. Sure enough, it wasn't his. So
right.
Yeah, it's happening so much when it comes to that. That's why I said I don't blame him for going to do that behind her back. I don't.
He doesn't have. He don't have the. If this is a real relationship and there's that big of a class mismatch, he don't have the skill to walk up to her and say, "Hey, babe, blah blah blah." And if she's dating him, she's not gonna react very well. So he's probably will do that. Well,
I guess it's my issue. He's got this whole research, and I'm researching how to be an alpha male, and here are my alpha traits and my alpha rules and my alpha this. And it's like, well, an alpha would be upfront, right?
Yeah. If you got a GED, you can research on how to do calculus and how to build AIs. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you're gonna do it well, does it? Because I'm looking at the list, and I'm listening to Alpha Male Strategies, and basically, if you guys know anything about pickup, that's probably the most horrible job of pickup, right? Like him insulting her, that's negging, right? Okay, negging to say negging is okay, say if you meet a really pretty woman, right? She's like 8, 9, or 10, right? And she thinks really highly of herself. So you want to bring her down just enough so that you can talk to her, level her out, right? So negging wouldn't be calling her ugly. Okay, all women have insecurities. I don't care how ugly they are or how pretty they are.
Absolutely.
They could be a supermodel. They're gonna have a little bit of insecurity, and you want to find something very small, and you're not gonna call her ugly. Or say her eyes are uneven, right? Okay, could be just barely uneven, right? And you look at it and said, "Are your eyes?" I said,
"You cockeyed."
You got pretty eyes. You wouldn't say that. Okay, that's what he would say.
It has to be more subtle. Yeah.
You had to be more subtle. I said, you know what? I thought your eyes were perfectly even on your pictures, but they're slightly a little bit uneven. And she'll put up her hand to her mouth and say, I've been living I look in the mirror, I see that every day. That's negging. You bring her out just enough.
Yes.
And so that you level her out and you talk to her. So what he talk about you ugly, okay, that's not negging. Okay, that's insulting. That's a difference. So what he's doing is, I don't know if this is a real thing, but that is horrible pickup. All the stuff that he's doing is horrible pickup.
I'm sorry, both of those would be terrible. The nagging, or even, just coming straight out saying that. Any man who basically responds to a woman that you're already with or you're trying to get with, and you're going to tell her something derogatory about herself. I mean, and really, unless it's really minute, because for him to say you're ugly. Okay, what do you mean that I'm ugly?
That's brutal. I mean,
it's brutal and it's very broad.
And you're gonna start a fight, and that's not even nagging. That's insulting. Okay. So,
yeah, and why would she want to even talk to him, accept another phone call from him? I'm done.
That's what I'm saying. That's why a lot of this stuff doesn't match.
It's rude.
It doesn't match the class differential. Now, if she's really that far into him, that say she's addicted to him sexually, which could happen, then he could probably say anything. Yeah, he could probably say
you're right.
He probably could say anything, but it doesn't seem to. It just doesn't fit. The whole thing doesn't fit.
It seems like they were actually already together. And then this came out of the blue, because that's kind of what she said. Like, this started at some point. So
okay, if there's that's how come I always talk about class as far as if you're gonna mate together, right? Because say if for whatever reason, say this, we're gonna assume this is real, right? Assume this is real, and say they got together, and say she's addicted to him that way, or say that's her imprint, whatever, right? At some point, where she is as far as class is, and where he is in class is, when they come together, that's gonna rub. That's gonna rub. It's, who she hangs with, her friends that she hangs with probably don't like him. The places that she goes, things she talks about, especially if he's that far above her, if she's that far above him. Okay, he's gonna start doing negative things to pull her back down, saying she's ugly, borrowing money from her, sleeping with other women, blah blah blah, because the gap is too far.
Oh God! You know what? That's a complete disaster. It's like
it is. It doesn't work. It's the same. It's the same thing as say if you're together with a woman and all of a sudden she goes from making $30,000, $300,000, you still making $50,000, right? It's gonna be sooner or later there's gonna be a differential that you have to work out.
Well, see, that's what I mean. I kind of saw in this, right?
She could do so. So it could be the other way around, because sometimes, like if she's unhappy with him because she's in a different class and she's kind of subtly disrespecting him, he's gonna start doing other things like sleeping with other women and throwing that stuff in her face and all other kind of stuff. So,
and that's all to knock her down a few pegs.
The thing is, she okay, because she's only talking about it going one way, right? What he's doing to her. But the thing is, what normally happens when there's that big of a class differential, she's doing the same thing. She's just not doing it as overtly. Why you hang with say he's a hood dude, right? He's an 85, he's a hood dude. Well, why you hang with them dudes? Those dudes don't have any class. I don't know why you have friends like that. Why you drinking, or why she's gonna start subtly nagging him. And he's gonna react to that, and that's what starts to happen, because he didn't say the stuff that she did. It's never a one-way exchange. Okay, it goes both ways. That's how come when you have that big of a class differential, when you have that big of a class differential, either you guys are really together and you're really strong and you're really secure in what you're getting ready to do. Otherwise, that stuff is gonna rub. And her friends are gonna be talking in her ear about he's low class, and listen to the way he talks. He can't put two words together. That nigga barely got his GED, and he was lucky to get that. And he's spending money, hanging and running around with these low class dudes, and she's gonna bring that shit back.
I can understand that, but this is the thing. Going by what I'm listening to, they've been together for 3 years.
Yeah.
So in 3 years, so that second year, so they had a good 24 months. Everything's, well, maybe not. Maybe 18 of those, it was pretty good.
It was acceptable. Okay, so say this is real, right? And this is, and they've been together 24 months, and that's that big a differential. And she's subtly picking at him, right? And so he's gonna pick up stuff like this. I need to be more alpha. I need to take control of my relationship, and I need to do these really brutal things to bring her back down and bring her back in line with where I'm at, so I can take charge of this relationship. And that's what's, and that, so I can, so if this is real, I'm assuming this is real. Okay. Just for the sake of argument. Okay. I can see him doing some shit like this and doing it badly because he doesn't have this, he doesn't have the skill to do this. Especially
no, he definitely does not.
Especially to a chick that's like a couple of class levels above him. And you can see how she talks and how he talks. Okay, that's he can barely put two words together. She's way above him.
Well, you know what? I've been in this situation because like I told you this before. Like I'm not really respecter of like persons and money and classes. Those aren't my priorities, right? So there are people in the world who are like me who don't really prioritize that thing.
Very few.
I know there are few, right? But she could be one of the few. And in that, hey, listen, she could be. Now, with that being said, you know why I say that? Because normally in these cases, if money or this or that or any of that type of stuff was an issue, it would have gotten brought up at some point, and it was never brought up by either of them, as though no one made it an issue.
He spent $1,600 trying to impress somebody and asked her for $500. The money did come up. She's got it. He doesn't.
Well, I mean, that's what they do in these divorce. They have to have a reason to be in court other than just complaining, right? So they always try to take some money back. But my point is, hold on, hear my point out. Hear my point out. So my point is this.
Before your point, I want to give a shout out. We got a donation, so you know what we got to do. We got to make Sheed sing. So let's do it.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
I think every time. Lord. But here, okay. My point I'm standing is this, right? If you happen to get one of those women, right? Because I've had this experience happen to me. So someone gets with me, they think attractiveness wise, I'm above where they are in life as a whole, right? Which makes them feel insecure. It starts making them feel paranoid. They think that I'm just here basically waiting it out. Like I'm just comfortable. I'm not here.
You're a placeholder.
Yeah, placeholder.
He's a placeholder. Yeah.
Right. That's how he feels about it. Yeah. I don't feel that way about it, but that's how he feels about himself. Yeah. Right. And so all of that, now he thinks he has to change
if he
everything.
If he goes by the percentages, he's probably right. Okay.
But if he's not right and he's with someone like me, then what he does is he changes the very reason why I'm with him, which is the way he treats me and our connection, our vibe together. He changes all of that because he thinks he has to do something, right, to impress upon me that he is the alpha and he is dominant and he's above me, right? Which then just destroys the relationship and I leave, right? Which is what happened.
Which is what happens. But the thing is, I don't think that's this in this case. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they had that good a connection at all. If it's real, she got with him really young, and she probably shouldn't have had the baby and all that kind of stuff, and she did. So now she's stuck. I don't think she was very happy.
Well, not towards the end, but he's calling her ugly and forcing her to pay money.
I don't think she was happy well before this.
I want to point out the money part too, right? Because he forced her to pay him money because it's on the list, and he couldn't say, yeah, my girl spends money on me unless he forced her to do it. So he could come back and say, see guys, yeah, I got my girl under control. Yeah. So I mean, it's stupid, right?
So did she give him the money?
She did, yeah.
Okay.
She did. Right. So, I mean, he's making her miserable, but she's actually really trying to play along with it because she does love him. So I do believe that at the beginning they did have that connection and they had that, and he actually ruined it by being over paranoid and overthinking it.
Okay. I've been in positions, right? A woman can love you like hell. Okay. That's not going to change the facts on the ground, her personality or the shit that she says to you. But she can love you like hell. I was engaged to a woman like that that was really, 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 really pretty, right? And, our relationship was fine, right? But then she got friends in her ear, and she would bring that shit back. And subtly, it wouldn't be anything major, it'd be little subtle digs. And at some point, you get tired of that shit. But the thing is, we're close enough in class brackets that she, it didn't mess with my ego. Okay, I was actually smarter than she was, but it didn't mess with my ego. But him, okay, it's gonna fuck with him. So him doing some, so say if this is a real relationship, basically, yeah, I can see him do some dumb shit like that, and he actually did horrible pickup, okay, because the stuff he put up there, even if that is on the list, the way he actually executed it is dumb. It's like somebody that doesn't even know math actually going out to build a rocket. He's gonna blow himself up, which is what he did.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
The thing that I had the hugest problem with is when he started, saying things like, "Oh, and dude was looking at me crazy," or dude was looking at me funny. It to me it dug more into his insecurity. If you're dealing with a woman that you cannot trust, whether you can trust this woman or not. You lay down with this woman. You sleep with this woman.
That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing.
It
doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. That's a woman's standpoint and what you should. Women don't even do that. Okay.
So,
women don't even do that.
So
if women have a man, if a man
no.
if they think that's above them, trust and believe.
So you're telling me you get no inkling. You have no idea of the woman that you're dealing with, that you're so close to. You have no idea of the woman that you're dealing with.
Insecurity plays on your mind, okay, and you.
That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, it does it. We only know it got a little bit of a snippet, a little snippet. That's all we got. But I can guarantee you, it was a whole lot more than what they put in front of that judge. I guarantee you.
Oh,
she's very well spoken, and I can guarantee you. I see my daughter do it, okay, to guys that are a little bit beneath her, and little subtle digs, okay, little subtle digs, and sometimes I have to stop her. I say, "Stop that shit! I know what you're doing. Don't do that." I had to stop her because she's so much smarter than the guy that she's dating. I said, "Don't embarrass him like that. Stop it."
Well, it's not even a matter of embarrassing him. Shouldn't he get himself up on his game?
He does. Some people have some people have the capability. My daughter has like damn near 140 IQ. If a guy's below 100, he's not gonna make that up. So in other words, you shouldn't be with him in the first place if it bothers you that much. Same thing with her.
That's true. And she shouldn't have to dumb herself down because his IQ level happens to be so many.
You have, if you're gonna be with him and you're gonna be happy, you're gonna have to dumb yourself down. Okay.
And when you say why, what do you mean?
It's because the differential is too great. What are you going to talk to them about if you don't dumb yourself down? I've done it with women that are not as smart as me. You have to, otherwise you're not going to talk to each other.
Well, I don't think you have to dumb yourself down. I do think sometimes you have to find language that people can understand you in, but you don't necessarily have to be dumb.
I got 3 PhDs that I coach, right? Okay. And the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that they talk about is finding a woman that's smart enough so they can actually talk to. And that's a big thing. Believe it or not. If I accept a woman, I accept her. So basically I've done it with most of my relationships. I have to find things that we can talk about. Okay, I can't just, I can't go into esoteric philosophy with like 90% of the women. I have to find things we can talk about. So literally, I have to dumb myself down to talk to her.
Can I ask you a question? I mean, with that woman, do you ever just push it to see if you can expand, her learning level?
Yeah, she tried.
Some people love to learn. So I mean, don't dumb yourself down to where you should not, share your gifts.
Some people do, okay, and some people do. In fact, even on Char can tell you, even in my videos, okay, I bring it down to a level that people can actually understand. I'm not all use fancy language.
Fancy words.
Char can tell you, in other words, I don't call it dumbing down, but I simplify the concept so people can understand it. I've been doing that for 6 years, and if you're in a and I have women that even the simplified stuff they can't understand.
Okay,
and that's a big thing. So if you're gonna, it sounds bad, but the thing is, say if you have a mate, male or female, that you're too far ahead of, you're going to have to dumb yourself down. It sounds bad, but you will.
But you know what, though? I disagree. And here's why. Honestly, in my life, like, most of the people that I meet are not as smart as me. I'm not trying to, like, say that to big myself up. It's just true. Now, with that being said, right, they, though, might have their own special interests and, you know, knowledge bases, and they might not be able to express things the way I can and whatever, but they're really smart in a lot of areas. And so I might not speak to them about stuff that's over their head, but, you know, we connect and agree or enjoy discussing other things. And so I keep our relationship on that level. And if I want to talk about socio-psychological stuff, I talk to people who understand it.
People, so you have to find other things that are not way up here that is closer to their level to talk about. And when you know that when you say something, say just offhand, so you get really excited about something you just learned or constantly just learned, you start talking about it, and you get the blank stare, and they say, "That's deep."
I mean,
get it. Come on, Ruby. Come on, Ruby. Come on with me, Ruby. Come on. You know. Don't bullshit me, Ruby. Don't bullshit me, Ruby. Don't bullshit me. You know.
And when you're talking about those differences, I mean, it's like, okay, is this, you know, a person with a high school level versus someone with a PhD level?
Yeah. Or it could be a bachelor's level.
Yeah,
it could be a bachelor's level and somebody with a GED. She's, you know, as far as necessarily intelligence, but as far as education wise, she's just by the language patterns that they use. Okay, she's way ahead of him. Okay, it's like, because if that's my daughter, she walked in with him, right, and I hear him speak a few sentences. I pull her in the kitchen and said, "Okay, why him?"
Get him from.
I'm gonna ask Char. What would you do?
What are you doing?
What would you do if you had her? That was your daughter, and she brought him home. What would you say, Char?
I'd be wondering where you get him from.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? I would say, what are you doing?
Exactly. That is it.
Talk to mommy. What are you doing?
That's a very bad class mismatch. And class mismatches like this usually end up like this. Okay, it's fine. I tell guys, okay, because people kind of, when I actually announced the octane scale, people actually started using it wrong. They said, well, I sleep with a chick that she had a PhD and she's blah blah blah, so you can sleep with her. Try living with. I said, okay. I asked 3 questions. I said, do you live with her? No. Okay. Are you really out in public with her a lot? Well, no. Has she introduced you to her friends? No. Okay. You're there to service her sexually. You're not there to be with her. So you in the bed, there is no class differential when you're having sex. Okay. Ain't no class differential. It's when you get out of bed, that's when the problems start. And trust and believe, women are extremely sensitive to class levels, even more so than men are.
But priorities, again, BGS, because here's the thing, right? If I, as a person, right, so let's say my work is my research, so when I come home, I don't want to bring work home. I've never been like that. So therefore, I'm going to be looking for someone who's more compatible with me on more emotional and social levels, as far as how we socialize, what we enjoy doing as hobbies, spare time, whatever. In that type of case, it's going to make less of a difference that maybe they're not into, or they can't really understand my research, or, stuff like that. They don't read the journals and whatnot, right? Because I don't care. I care that they're emotionally intelligent. In fact, honestly, I do care that the men I'm with are more emotionally intelligent than I am, because I'm not really super great at that part of life. So I need someone who's a little bit better, because I'm not great at coaching someone through stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right?
But the thing is, your kind of case is going to be extremely rare.
Yeah, but not non-existent.
The thing is,
could be her.
I'll tell you, because people think I only talk to men about octane scales. Women are most of the women actually understand when I talk about octanes and class levels. They get it right away. They get it right away, and they talk about it. And when you even when even to the point, say if a woman's making $10,000 when you met her, and all of a sudden she's making $250,000, and you're still making 50, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem, and that's when everything else matches. Just the fact that her paycheck is higher is going to be a problem.
Why?
Women are really sensitive to that.
Why is there going to be a problem in your eyes and your experience? Why is there going to be a problem?
Because they say if a woman, in fact, there's two books that one I have to read, and one I always suggest called The Richer Sex. Liz Mundy, who's a staunch feminist, that talks about this, right? And when you're talking about black people, we're talking about white women, and white women are a little bit more accepting of this, right, than black women are. And the problem is that women are not socialized biologically or socially to be providers, right? And if she makes way more than you, she becomes a provider, and she doesn't know how to switch that off. And then when she becomes a provider, she starts resenting the man that she's with because he's not at her quote unquote level, right? That's like a woman prefer to marry straight across or up, okay? Because below that, especially if it's too far below that, unless that woman's Ruby, okay, there's gonna be a problem. In fact, I just had two posts where a woman was actually going with a guy, didn't know how much he made, and they were going together for 2 years. Everything was perfectly fine, right? No problems. They had a good relationship until she saw his pay stub.
But you know what? I'm gonna say,
explain it to me. Explain it to me, Lucy.
I'm going to listen to me. Seriously, listen. It's an individual basis. You know, listen, in my experience, and I can only speak anecdotal. You know, in my experience, you know, I've not been with the man who's out earned me. I've out earned, you know, the men that I've been with.
Okay.
But for me, it wasn't a resentful thing. But I've never been with a bum. I've never been with a man who was not, you know, employed. I've never been with a man who did not support himself. So for me, if
did you date him or marry him?
Both.
So how did it work in your marriage?
The money wasn't the issue.
Okay, it can happen, but it's extremely rare. I can tell you that. I've had too many guys, too many women complain about it, and too many guys complain about it. I mean, there's too many books written about it. I got 2 books written about the exact same phenomenon that we're talking about.
Yeah,
Exact same.
You know what the problem is, BGS?
I've experienced it. I've experienced it myself. I had friends that experienced it. I have a whole bunch of. I had my sister's best friend, right? They got married. She got a promotion at a hospital. She was making double what he made. It started with her. It is what it is. That's just human nature. And for the few people that can, like Dolly Parton's husband drives a steamroller, just regular dude. Okay, but that is so rare, it's ridiculous.
But you know what the problem is, BGS, is that even if it's 75 to 80% of the female population, right, is not
probably more like 90. But go ahead.
I'm going to say 75 to 80, right?
Okay.
Then you still have
keep hope alive.
Yes. So you still have 10 to 20% of women who aren't like that. The problem is that when you overlearn about the 80 to 90%, you never learn about the 10% or how to even recognize when you happen to have lucked out and, oh my God, found the 10%, then you treat the 10% like they're the 90%. And hey, guess what? Then you mess up a good thing because you don't know how to recognize it when it's in front of you.
Because you never learn how to deal with that. Where do you go to do that at?
Well, I guess that's the question. Because that's what I think this guy did. I think this guy found the 10% and he ruined it because he didn't recognize there was a 10%.
It's a very difficult dance on both parts, and sometimes with women it's not overt. Okay, it's not overt. It's women when it comes to something like this, it's passive aggressive, and it comes out. Even women don't even know that they're doing it. As far as class is concerned, I mean, it's like I said, man, I've been studying because it happened to me. I was in my late 20s when it happened to me, right? So I've been studying this stuff for a very long time, and asking questions, asking women. If you do a survey, you know, because Dr. Johnson he does a survey right every year with his class, right? like almost like 99% of women react of the girls in this classroom versus the men react the exact same way. It's in fact if feminists, if hardcore what is it? Lean in feminists react the same way. They have to have books and coaching sessions to get women in a different mindset. It's something that is difficult to overcome. It's really difficult to come. You're going to have a whole lot of counseling. You're going to have a whole lot of relearning. You're going to have the right two people together, and they're going to have to be close enough in class for it actually to work. Otherwise, eventually, it's going to unravel itself.
Which I do. I mean, I do think I totally hear that, and you can obviously see that in many cases, right? I just think that what it comes down to, right? Like, I'm not like just some magical anomaly that was just born this way. We're all
are.
kind of, well, I might be, okay, it might be an anomaly, but when I'm saying I'm not magical, what I'm saying is that my life circumstances created who I was, and therefore what I prioritize and what I call safety and stability, what I call provision, right? What am I prioritizing over everything else, right? And I think that a lot of women, especially Black women, right? Especially Black people, right? The status, money, food insecurity, stuff like that.
It's not just Black people, okay?
Well, no, because I think that especially if we're talking about upper classes, you're actually looking at a different reason. Yeah, but I think you're looking at it for it's worse, but for a different reason. As in, why they are prioritizing money to that extent is for a different reason, right? Because if you've never been starving, then you're not scared of being starving. What you are scared of is looking like a loser in front of all your high society friends and being kicked out of high society, right? If you're up there,
or even regular middle class people, the same way.
Right. So that's why I was saying, I'm talking about more so like, okay, I never had a silver spoon in my mouth or whatever, but my priority wasn't money because it was never a stress or an issue. Like my mom found a way to make life glorious for $2, right? And so, and I learned how to be thrifty and not really prioritize money. So, emotionality as far as feeling loved and feeling like I'm actually wanted and stuff like that became a priority. Why? Because those were the things I was lacking. So those are the things that became my number one priority. Right. And that can cover a multitude of sins for me. And I think that, so depending on the women that we're talking about, like if you come from the middle class, you might have a higher, like, and I'm talking about straight middle class, right? You might have a higher percentage of middle class people who don't prioritize money to the extent that it would absolutely destroy a relationship. I think that, no, seriously, I think that the top 30 and the bottom 30%, as far as socioeconomic status, I think that those are the ones that are going to end up prioritizing money the most, and people in the middle don't.
Oh, I wish that was the case. I wish that was the case.
No, I'm not saying not at all, but I'm saying I think you have, as in,
more so.
Okay, so with your 10%, where you said there's 10% of women who might be the anomaly, what I'm saying is I don't think that 10% is right, but whatever the number is, my point is I don't think that is distributed evenly across the population. I think that the highest percentage of that is actually right in the middle class.
Oh no, I do. I think it's really across the whole population. If you see a guy that's making less, okay, now could they stay together? Yes, but it's going to be strife. Okay, I don't care if you a ghetto dude or you a baller. Okay. Or close to being a baller.
And why? Is it because of the order of things? And
it's biological. Biological women are not biologically suited to be providers, or and providing in this society means making more money.
I agree with that.
And the second thing is your network. And women's network, women have, because Char probably knows it, probably octanes probably as well as I do. Okay, your for females it's more intense because you have a network of good friends, like maybe 5 or 6 women that are your what cousin T-Talk calls your FAY group, your female hierarchy group, right? And if you don't pass the test of that group, all right, it's going to be a constant problem because they're always going to be in her ear. about why you with this dude, or what are you doing with this dude? You should drop that loser. Okay, how come he can't get himself together and make as much as you do? He's not as ambitious. On and on and on and on and on. And she's gonna have to hear it. As long as she has those friends, she's gonna hear it. And if she gets another group of friends in her class, it's gonna pick up and have the same thing. So you have all this intense pressure, because according to normal society, this is out of order. So you have to have a really strong connection with that guy. You have a really strong connection. You know, the guy and that woman have to have a really strong bond that they can actually withstand that kind of pressure. And and that's rare. I know you see it. You see it. There's other things that you got to mitigate it. Okay. Say if a guy is, say if a chick's making a lot of money, but the guy is really good looking, like say Jesse Williams and his wife, right? He's like movie star good looking. Okay, they can accept that. Okay, they know what you're doing. Okay, you're paying the cost. Okay, you got a really good looking guy, and he's an 8, he's a 9 or a 10, and you're down. You might be a 5 or a 6.
No.
Okay, you got to make that up. Come on now, be real. Be real. Come on. Come
But
on.
I'm saying the same thing, just about a different priority, in essence. I'm literally saying the same thing, but instead of the looks being the priority, right? I'm talking about being actually loved and valued, actually having loyalty, actually having devotion and support. If that is a priority to you above all else, then yeah, you're willing to pay the cost, as you said. But if you're in a circle of people who think that way, then you're not going to get pressure for being you actually have the prize, because you actually found someone who gives a shit about you, which is difficult to do.
I'll go back to Char. Char, you got a daughter, right?
We'll pretend, okay.
We'll pretend that you have a daughter, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, you have a daughter. She's 25, 30 years old, and she's balling. She's making $20,000 a year, and she get a dude making 30, and she brings him in, and you ask him, what does he do?
Oh no.
I definitely need to know where he come from.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Mama Bear will kick in. Mama Bear gonna kick in. Yeah, Mama Bear gonna kick in. She need to know what's going on.
Wait a minute.
Sniff it out.
So somebody's agreeing.
I'm still not. No.
I know. No, you're not. I know you're not. Ruby already said you're an anomaly, right, Ruby? I gave you that.
The assets, I mean.
Oh, really? Okay. Tell me more.
I believe that one should protect their assets, and to be honest, I don't believe a woman was made for taking care of a man. And a man.
At least you're not
tell me more. Tell me more.
Man, are you listening? Hello.
Oh, he's listening.
Tell me more.
He's just mocking me. Don't worry, Vonda. Go ahead. He's mocking me.
No. I'm telling her to tell me more.
I feel, in my opinion, I feel a man should always come to the table, holding his own. There should be nothing that he should, need financially from a woman per se when you meet her.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell a little bit about myself, right? Just a wee bit, right? I have a very good friend, and we actually co-host, and she likes me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But she's worth like $20 million.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I'm a regular dude, okay? Mm-hmm. So when she gets ready to jet to the south of France, I'm not jetting with her, okay? I'm not saying in the 5-star hotels in the south of France. She can do that, okay? With me and her, I said, you're a lovely person, you're a sweetheart, okay? Under normal circumstances, it'd be in a heartbeat, right? I ain't walking into that. I know better. And people say, why? No, I'm not walking into that. All right, I know better. I'm not walking into that. It's too big of a differential. Okay, class differential.
That is huge.
That's ginormous. That is ginormous.
A beautiful soul, right? Mm-hmm. When we talk for 2 or 3 hours. Beautiful soul, right? Have a good conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I know she throws out the little she throws out the little cookie crumbs. I said, I know better than walk into this one. Okay. I don't care how well it works. I said, 20 years ago, I might even try it. Now I know better. Okay. Too big of a differential. So I'm not saying something that I don't live, right? I've been bit by this before. And I tell you, my fiance, gorgeous woman, okay, very smart, and she was a climber on her way up, right? And she had an attitude until she looked at our pay stubs at the end when we were getting ready to do taxes, right? There was like $1,000 difference between what we made, and I made just $1,000 more. That was big enough to make a difference in her attitude.
Wow.
I know.
I don't even understand that. That's so dumb.
It doesn't mean that emotions have no logic to it, right?
True.
Wow.
I'm not. So when I talk about class differentials, okay, I always say my octanes are about mating and relationships. They're not about having sex or dating. Okay, you can date anybody. Okay, you can date anybody when the date's over, or when the deed is done. He can leave at 7 o'clock in the morning with the coffee and a sandwich to go. All right. He has no impact on the rest of your life. Okay. When he's in your house, when you're trying to make this stuff work, and you have to look at each other, and there's expectations, and probably on both sides, that's when the rubber meets the road. That's a whole different story. That's when business gets done. And sometimes this stuff is business. I know it is. If I'm listening to it, I said, any of this doesn't make sense. I don't even know how these two people got together. Okay. but if it is real, I can understand why he tried to do that. He's trying to elevate his status to actually equalize where she is. That's what he's trying to do. He's just doing it badly.
But see, now the question is though, right? If he didn't actually literally elevate his status, so in essence, all he's trying to do is socially trick her into thinking he's elevated his status 3 years in, right? Let's say he did it better. Do you think that would actually be enough 3 years into an actual relationship where you live with someone and have a kid? Or do you think that trying to actually elevate his status would have been better?
I've seen if okay, it's a hard trick. Okay, it's a very hard tricks to do, but it can be done. But it's a very difficult trick, and I don't think he has enough skill. If you're looking on the internet, that means you don't have enough skill to do it. Because if you're trying to make up that big of a differential, you just can't go on the internet and all of a sudden with a relationship you're already in the midst of trying to implement this stuff. Okay, it's too late. You need to go out and actually, if you're going to do this kind of pickup, okay, pickup. I always in fact, Alan Roger Curry said the same thing. Okay, to really do pickup to do it properly, to actually master it, is going to take 3 to 5 years minimum, right? And if you're going to do pickup properly and do all the work, that means you have to actually approach at least at the very minimum 100 women a week, 100 women a month.
You just can't go online.
No.
And listen to everything and then become alpha.
Magically, okay.
No.
Oh God.
I mean, it's I see people put all these rules and stuff like that, but the thing is, if you don't have the basics down, okay, then it's very difficult to actually implement it. And you have to, if you're going to do pickup, he has to find women that are in his class that he can actually speak to. Okay, you cannot do alpha or pickup games in the middle of a relationship. Pickup is about acquisition. It's not about retention. Okay, retention is a completely different thing. Okay. So trying to use pickup that's for acquisition to actually retain a chick, it's not going to work very well unless you really are really steeped in this stuff and you really experienced in how to do this. You can do things, you can do so-called alpha things to actually for a relationship, but you already have to have practiced it and actually mastered it before you can actually do that. If you had already done it, then you possibly can do, even with that, it's going to be difficult.
But it seems like it would also not work on, okay, there's that chick right there, no matter who she is, what she's about, whatever, it's just going to work. You would keep using the tactic until, and some women it'll work on, and then you pick the best of those women.
And you got to find the women that, the one thing is and Ram talks about it all the time. He says, know your tribe, right? Know the women, know your tribe, call it know your prey. Know the women that's actually going to work on. But the thing is, that takes
Right.
time, that takes experience, and it takes a lot of effort to actually figure that out. And trying to figure, and that's just acquisition. Retention is a completely different thing. He hasn't even mastered the first step yet.
Well, and to be fair with, like, I mean, I wanted to say something too, because we don't actually technically know his level of anything. But I do know for sure he's an incredibly insecure person who lacks confidence. Because for all we know, he has a bachelor's degree. He's just so not confident that he can't put his words together because he doesn't believe in himself, right? Like, I mean, because honestly, there are people who haven't finished high school who put words together brilliantly, right? But they have a lot of confidence. So they might have said the exact same sentence, but just the way they deliver it is better.
Okay,
right?
Ruby, what are the odds he has a bachelor's degree? Just listening to him.
Well, what are the statistics? Like 60%?
Very low. Especially black men is really low. You know,
so
30%? Only like what is it? When I looked at it, 19% of black men, of all black men, have a bachelor's degree. That's 1 out of 5, basically, right? And so, what are the odds that he beat all those odds that has a bachelor's degree?
Okay, fine. So maybe he doesn't have a bachelor's degree, right? No, but okay, honestly, there's no way that chick would have not mentioned in any way, shape, or form that he ain't shit because he doesn't pay bills, he doesn't feed his kid, he doesn't this, he doesn't that. If any of so he must make enough money for them to be living comfortably, and she's happy enough with that part, right? So I don't know if he has a trade or if he just works his way up, right? But the point is, right, is he does he could sound more confident than he does. He could come off more confident. The body language, the way he dresses himself, like he just seems to really lack confidence and self-awareness, and like, you know what I mean, that thing that you need as a man for women to look at it and be like, he's confident. I like that confidence, because women like confidence.
He has he has confidence for women that are I would call lower class, but at a different class.
Okay.
Because I know cousins in Louisiana would love him, just the way he is. And there's guys in Chicago that Char knows that would love girls that would love him just the way he is. Just not her. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like the things that he's doing where he's walking around in a store and he sees a guy who he thinks is swoller than him. So then he starts attacking me in the middle of this store about how I must have been staring at the swole guy. Like, simmer down.
No, there's women that would giggle at that.
Let me point this out though. He actually called over the guy, the server that was in a restaurant. And when I heard that, I'm like, well, he's willing to challenge, because you don't know if this guy is going to knock you out or not.
We're not doing that. You dude.
But he went that far. Just think about it. He went that far to say, hey, dude, what you doing? You know my girl? What's up with that?
He sized him up. They're not that stupid.
Yeah, I was going to say, but is that confidence or is that just emotionality?
If he was like 6'9" and 300 pounds, he wouldn't have said nothing.
That his emotional intelligence level is,
Right. He didn't say nothing to the swole guy who was swoller than him. Notice that's not the same story.
He didn't. No, he's not dumb. Okay.
He just went to her and said, what are you looking at the swole guy for?
I live in the hood. Okay. I've seen this a million times. Okay. I know dudes like him. So
and you can see why she was walking away at the end. And he was like, can we try it again? And she's like, no, I didn't try it 5 times too many, 10 times too many, my dude.
I should have never been with you. That's what she's saying. I should never have a baby with you, which is something. I would like to investigate. I like to investigate why she had that baby. That's what I would like to investigate.
Because she was in love. Like, she was in love. She thought things were going well.
You do really stupid stuff when you're in love.
That's very true, right? And then afterwards is when he found the internet and all the foolishness.
And it's uncorrectable stuff that you do when you're in love. You can't correct it. It is what it is. You have to live with it. The stuff you do when you're in love, you don't correct it. You freaking
Is it love or lust? Which one is it?
You know, it could be lust. It could be
live together. You have together.
Char, weigh in. What do you think, Char?
There's a fine line. It could
when
be
you live together, you have lots of sex. Lots of it.
Were they living together?
In the beginning, they were.
You do. They were? When you're in your 20s, you just be like, that's all you have time for. Is getting it in.
So how was this couple? How old were they?
He's 24, she's 22.
Yeah, I was like, they look young.
That
they're
makes sense. That
young.
makes sense. That
That
makes sense.
totally makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
They still got a whole nother life to live.
In other words, he's working, he's making more money, and she's not. She's just starting out, right?
Mhm.
And so when she progresses, guess what she's gonna pass him.
Well, it's life.
It's life. She passes him. Well, what happens when she passes him? And he's trying to pull her back.
Well, they didn't get that far because he found alpha male strategies and applied them very incorrectly.
He applied it because she was getting away from him.
You know what? You know why I disagree with you? Because I think it has something to do with the baby. I think that things were fine and he felt confident enough, everything was good, and then she had this baby, and then she lost all the baby weight. She still looks hot as hell, fine as hell. You know what I mean? Now she got the mama boobs and stuff too. And that's what made him feel super insecure, because he was like, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose her and the family and whatever. I got it made. I got a great woman. I got a great life. I'm scared of losing it. And that's why I think he went looking. That's because
he squolled her neck even tighter. That was the way to go. That was the way to go.
It's the only thing he knows. And it's not, and men, it's not just men that do that.
And all she could see was survival. She was done. She was like, "Oh no,
she was done. She was done.
It's like this. bye, my G.
She was done before this. That's why.
All you could be is my child's father. I'm done with.
And she was done before this. Okay, yeah. She was even before the alpha male strategies. This was like the last Hail Mary. She was already done.
I don't know, because at the end of the day, if you're already done BGS, then when someone tells you your new hair looks ugly, you say, whatever, I don't give a fuck about your opinion anyway. I'm gonna go out tonight and go. Your attitude at that moment is not to break down crying, because you're already done with them emotionally. You've disconnected from them.
So
she broke down crying.
So in other words, for somebody to do something this extreme, this is extreme. This is not something that you do on a whim, right? Especially if you already have a woman. For you to do something this extreme, there has to be something else going on. There's something that's missing, because it doesn't make sense.
Insecurity. See, the thing is, though, right? So many of us, we don't see relationships succeed. We don't see, there's so much failure and so many reasons to be scared of serious relationships. You're not scared of these casual dating situations, but you are scared of serious ones, because that's when people get their heart broken, when they fall in love, when they really commit, when they move in with each other. And so, you're steeped in that fear. You're steeped in that failure all around you. So once your relationship, I once dated someone, every time we moved to another level of seriousness, he lost his damn mind for 4 or 5 months. Just I'm like, who the hell are you and what the hell is your problem? But it was every time we moved to another level of seriousness, he got very insecure. He got very scared, very paranoid.
Because the price goes up as men move up in levels.
What do you mean?
In other words, there's more. Greater commitment means greater investment as you move up in levels. In fact, Char knows I actually demonstrated this. Men think in levels, right? So if you're just a casual dude, casual chick, you see it every now and then, friends with benefits, ain't no big deal, right? Become a serious girlfriend. Okay, now that's a different level of investment, emotional and monetarily, right? When you move up to marriage, there's a whole new different level. So every time you move up a level, there's going to be a more intense scrutiny.
So with that being said, there is a level of investment, and okay, I'm really getting into something. Why is it that the man think that he's the only one risking something? The woman is risking a lot too.
But the thing is, that's fine for the woman, but you talk about yourself, okay? Because she can do what she wants, okay?
But women are thinking more along the lines
we don't. Men don't think. Women think we. Men don't think we. Men think I.
Well, tell it. You know what? Tell it. I'll listen.
Men think. I should break it down a little bit because Ruby and Char have heard this many, many times, so they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because women be on the we, and like you say, hey, women think we, men think me.
I've actually shown the chart. I've done videos on it. I've actually talked about it. I usually talk about this all the time on the BGS for Women about the 3 levels of commitment, right? And where men actually fit women. In fact, Kevin actually uses that in his work, right? As far as high value man and wives and stuff like that. There's a different level of commitment. And he'll say, if you're a baby mama, you're good for a booty call, right? Because the level of commitment is low. So he doesn't care about your 4 kids by 4 different daddies or anything like that, right? Because it's low. Maybe even a girlfriend, okay? But as a wife, that's a whole different story. She becomes part of your life. Whole different level of commitment. That's the way men think. In other words, okay, if I'm gonna take that kind of risk with this woman, she better qualify. And so they qualify. And sometimes, because the reason I came up with this is because and about I was actually talking to this dating coach, right? I mean, not sexually, but actually corresponding with her, right? And then she was actually talking about this. She always come up to, okay, I date this guy for 7 years, we break up, and then 6 months later he marries somebody else. Why does that happen, right? And then my sister, a good friend of mine, my ex's friend, all had the same problems. Okay, she dated the dude for 10 years. They broke up, and a year later he's married to somebody else. Why does that happen? So I took all the data that I knew about. I talked to guys, all the stories the guys have told me. It came back that, okay, women have to qualify for each level. Okay, women think in time, like, okay, I'm gonna go from like the 1st grade to graduate in high school, right? Which is wife level, right? Men don't think that way. Men think, okay, she qualifies for this, she qualifies for that, she qualifies for this. I've seen guys have a work wife for 20 years. And never married her, right? She's always stayed in that right place, because men don't throw things away, right? If you're good friends with benefit or a jump off, or you're a good girlfriend, as long as you're doing the job that a girlfriend does, he'll keep you right there. Okay. And thing is, if he's looking for a wife, okay, either you qualify or you don't. And I seen a guy, I actually talked to a couple of guys and said, okay, about their first wives, right? Especially their first wives. And I said, when did you know that she qualified as a wife? He said, about maybe a couple of months. He knew that she was wife worthy. I mean, after a couple of months, and that comes out time after time after time after time after time after time. That guys know within a couple of months that whether that woman is wife worthy or not. Now, he might want to check her out and make sure that his first assessment is good. He might take a year or 2 to do that. That may happen. But I always, you know what I say, Char. If you were to do more than 3 years, you want to get married. Okay, that dude's probably not going to marry you. You don't qualify for that man. I'm not saying that you don't qualify to be a wife, but a wife for that man.
For that man, right.
For that man. So after 3 years, after 3 years, he's hemming and hawing. That means you probably don't qualify. Now, he may be waiting around because you're a good girlfriend, you're Johnny on the spot. And he said, well, maybe if we work on it, she can change and she can move up and qualify. But the thing is, when he first meets you, you don't qualify. And I know guys that was, instantly, like within 3 months, okay, she qualifies. In fact, I was talking to Dr. Johnson about his wife, right? And I said, when did you know? He said about 2 months.
Wow.
She walked in and he just knew. He said, he said, okay, you could be my wife. She said, I already knew that. In other words, she already knew she qualified. I
have a question. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question about my uncle, because women have, obviously, we can't tell what's in a man's mind, right? So you have my uncle, for example. He's a great example. He got, this chick pregnant. I say that because he had his kid with his first baby mom. And then the baby mom took the kid and ran away. It was a bad situation.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, well, okay. Well, get out of that one. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, but then, so now he got this chick pregnant, right?
Okay.
And so we met her while she was pregnant. Like, who the hell are you? But then he proposed to her.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. Right. But then he proposed to her. He did propose to her like a year later. Okay. And then a few years later, they had they bought a house together.
Okay.
Right. And then, a few years after that, they finally were able to move into it because they bought it before they broke ground. Right.
Okay.
And then they had another kid. And anyway, they stayed engaged for so long that my mother met a new person, got married in that time. She eventually, the fiance took off her ring. She's like, this is stupid. Everyone keeps telling me when the wedding is. It's been like 17 years. So they got married after 20 years. 20 years together, 2 kids, a house, investments, the whole 9, right? But then you have other people who stay engaged for the same 11, 20, whatever years. And I gave you a ring, but I'll never actually marry you. Like, how can you tell the difference?
That time is that should be an obvious thing. If you haven't gotten promoted in 20 years, there's something wrong. And
but she got promoted, right?
Okay. No, she didn't get promoted. She didn't get married. Okay. Because she didn't qualify.
Married.
Did she? If she finally got married after what? 20 years?
20 years. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 17 or 20, something like that.
Basically, after a certain amount of time, I said, you know what? Guess what? Forget it. Yeah. Whether she qualifies or not, I got 2 kids with her. I got all this investment with her. Or I'm already invested in her. Go ahead and make it formal.
Okay.
That can happen. Okay. It happens, but it doesn't happen that often. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened with my godmother and the guy she was dating since I was like a baby, basically. It's over 20 years. They finally got married. They're already divorced. Like, they weren't even married for like 2 years.
She didn't qualify. Yeah. She really wasn't qualified to be his wife. That's how come it broke up after they got married.
Well, she left him because she realized she was waiting to qualify, right? Yeah. And then as soon as she did, she's like, I don't actually want this man. Like, I don't want this life. He ain't shit.
He already knew that she didn't qualify as wife. He just did it because she waited him out.
Yeah, she waited him out and then left him. It was like, and then left. Waste of my life.
In other words, she found after 2 years of being married to him, she actually found out why he didn't marry her. Oh, no, this is why. We don't work together.
At all.
At all. Yeah. He knew it. But the thing is, she's useful. She fits what he wants her to do in that role. That's how we kept her for 20 years.
And then sometimes it's like a less wait, right? Like, let's say, like me, it was like 7.5 years. I know that's a long time, but we met when we were a little bit younger. But or 10 years or 11 years. How do you tell the difference between someone who's just, we were young when we were met and we're building and growing and they want to be in a certain place when they get married, and someone who's just going to wait indefinitely because you don't actually qualify for being a wife to that person?
Well, you don't. The thing is that's why you have to put a limit on it. Because you don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't know. You don't know. You can wait 30 years and that fool still won't marry you.
He still won't marry you. So what I'm saying is, if women want to protect them, so I tell guys the same thing. If you haven't decided, I tell guys actually earlier than that. If you haven't decided in 2 years, let her go, because you already know. Stop playing.
They're selfish, BTS. They're not gonna let her go.
No, it's not. They're selfish. They're hope. I hear this with guys all the time, especially guys that are dealing with chicks that are a little bit edgy. Okay. There's enough there. If I could just change this, or if I could get her to change that, and she's close, okay. If a woman is close, he'll keep her, right? If she's close enough, if I can just work on her long enough, she will actually cross over that threshold. I can actually be with her in that way. And most times people are who they are.
Yeah, you'll never change her. She's who she is.
She is, and women and guys and women that actually go through actually talking to guys and women about the same thing. It's men and women are actually the same people, right? They just go about it a little differently. That's all.
Right.
It's the same thing. But the thing is that I actually made that scale more for women than men. Because that question kept coming. How come he's engaged to me for 4, 5, 6, 10 years? And that question kept coming up over and over and over and over again. I said, let me sit down and go through my data, go through my stories, go through my experience, and find out exactly why. And that's what came out. And so I actually showed it to a whole bunch of guys, because I made this like 2009, I want to say. So I went to a whole bunch of guys and said, look at this. Okay. And I explained it to them. It was like 99% of guys agreed with that chart.
Well, you know what? When you bring out, like certain, information, or you do your certain streams, you have to think, BGS, every 3, 4, 5 years, you have to bring that back around again, because there's a whole new generation of people coming in who haven't heard,
So what I do with the new? What I do with the new stuff then? What do I do with the new stuff? If I keep bringing up the old stuff.
Well, the old stuff is what creates the new stuff. I mean, somebody has to find a way to integrate it, and say, hey, this is how we got here.
It's tough to be BGS sometimes.
You have a responsibility, see?
Heavy is the head, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
What I'm saying, I was listening to the story. I said, "Oh shit!" I said, "How did they get together in the first place?" Because it makes no sense.
I don't know.
I was sitting there and I said, "They don't belong together." I'm listening to them. They do not belong together. If this is real,
Really
I'm assuming this is real. They didn't belong together. And one thing I always ask women, you knew from the very beginning y'all didn't really belong together. You liked him, but you knew you didn't belong together. Why you have a baby by him? Okay. How did it work out for you? Right, Char?
You know why? It's because women figure out. Well, no, there is lots of sex. But no, women figure out, men figure out in 10 seconds, this person's not right for me. Or at least like within 2 months. Women, it actually takes them past that infatuation stage for them to know for sure. No, it's true, because women get so clouded by emotions that the emotion and the feeling that this person is giving you clouds all of the details that tell you this person's not right for you, because you think with this person suddenly it's not a big deal, because it's not, because you're in an infatuation stage.
You know how I know? Because I got 2 daughters and I can tell. Okay, I can tell you what even though we worked on my grandson's father, and he's actually a really good, hardworking, really good guy, and so I have no problem with him. He's actually a good father to my grandson. Actually, really loves my daughter. Wanted to marry her, right? Yeah. So when we met at the baby shower, right? I looked at him and I looked at her. I said, you knew. You already knew. Why you have a baby by him? You know. You wasn't going to stay with him. That's what turned out. You wasn't going to. I'm not talking about you guys aren't right for each other in so many ways. So why you have a baby by him? And she just get the okay. All right. Got caught up in an emotion.
Because
that's what it is.
You think it's going to be different, and you're like, "Oh, it wasn't different. I thought maybe there was a chance that possibly."
I got one word. I got one word for you that I make 2. Bullshit.
Right. You know what? You're right. It is bullshit. But you know what? That's where you have to draw the line and say, you know what? Women and men do not think the same.
You know why I know he was. You know why I knew that she knew that they weren't right for each other? Because she didn't bring him around the family.
Okay, no, but that
they would have known. They would have known. She knows what we would have said automatically.
Yeah. Those are 2 different things, though, for women.
And we turned out to be right. Everybody, every woman, every little girl knows what kind of guy that she's supposed to be messing with, and what kind of guy the family will approve of.
See, 2 different things. 2 different things. What the family will approve of versus what's right for you. In women's heads, especially once emotions get involved, are not necessarily the same thing. They are always aware. They are always aware if the family's going to approve of this guy or not. They know that, right? And then they'll just say, if they know the family's not going to approve, they'll just go, "Well, Dad just won't understand, but I know he's the one for me." And you believe that. You really do.
Elope and marry the man, then.
Some people do. My mom did that with my dad. Didn't work out so well, right?
It didn't work, but at least she was committed. Okay, I can go for that. Okay, I can go for that.
She was committed.
At least she was. I can go for that. If you really believe in that guy and committed to that guy, go ahead, go all the way. Go to the Justice of Peace and sign up. If you committed, don't just have a baby and it's all of a sudden it doesn't work out. No. I don't believe if you that committed, the guy you that in love, you that 10 toes down, go sign on the paper and take the risk. I said I tell that with a guy, if he's messing with a woman, if you going, if you messing with a chick that long and you're willing to have get her pregnant, okay, for I mean, sometimes you don't have men don't have control over that.
Just like that, BGS, get her pregnant.
Get her pregnant.
Yes.
We tell guys that a lot of times you're not in control of that. But the thing is, if you willingly going into this knowing that you're into this like that, go ahead and sign up. Go ahead and sign up.
They're not even though. People are just stupid these days, right? Oh, but barebacking feels so much better. So even though I'm not really that into her,
it does.
Yeah, but like, it does. Until the baby comes, right?
That's just the things that people say. It really doesn't feel any better. You put something on it.
No, it does for the men. It does for the men, right? Not for us. For us, it doesn't make a damn difference.
It does for the women too. It actually does.
It's not really.
Way of just being lazy. Just stop it and put something on it.
It ain't lazy. No, it's just for men. It's a huge difference.
Listen, for women, physically, there's no difference of the feeling. Emotionally, there is, right? Because emotionally, you're letting someone like literally physically be touching you on the inside, which is different, but it doesn't feel. No, it is.
No. For men, no.
No, not for
women,
men.
yes.
It's because remember,
no, it's not.
Vonda, think about something wet skin versus the feeling of latex touching wet skin, right? Like, it'll feel different.
Vonda, I'll give you an example. Right? I'll give you an example. Do you physically wash dishes, right?
I absolutely do.
Okay. Next time you wash dishes, put latex gloves on.
Yeah.
Can you tell the difference? Can you tell the difference in washing dishes with latex gloves on versus with your bare hand?
I do not clean my bathroom without latex gloves.
I know. But what I'm saying is, do you wash dishes barehanded?
Yes, I've done it both ways, and I can't tell the difference.
So stop bullshitting me, sweetie.
But still, put it this way, I can do both, but
you can do both.
But if I knew that, I wash dishes without these gloves, it was going to cost me 18 years of, this hell and pain. I'm going to get my gloves and make sure I have a handy stock of gloves underneath the sink.
Yeah, black men are actually the biggest users of condoms of all groups of men. Believe it or
They're
not.
probably the biggest purchasers, BGS, not maybe the biggest users.
Yeah, I can tell
They're not using them like they should.
The preferred method of black people, by statistics, is condoms. And now black women use birth control the least of all groups.
Let me say this. We have, you guys mentioned bringing folks home. Now, when I met the stripper, I knew I could not bring that guy home to my mom and dad. It wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing going to happen to me, but something going to happen to him.
Right.
Oh, we got jokes. Go ahead. Y'all off the chain. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to throw that in there.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, I don't know of a lot of moms who would approve of your stripper boyfriend, right?
I know. I know quite a few, but go ahead.
I don't.
I know quite a few. I do.
Well, my mom doesn't approve of much of anything, though, and she's very honest. My mother's overly honest, like to a fault. Like whatever critical thought she thinks in her head, she will say immediately, right? So. I'm always scared to introduce her to anybody.
There are quite a few. The thing most women wouldn't bring the stripper home because moms and aunts might try to sleep with him. That's probably
Oh, not my mom.
Oh no, BGS. Really?
No.
Did I stutter?
No.
That's not my family. My family has a lot of problems. That's not one of them.
Not one of them.
Thank God. You know what? Maybe a couple of cousins. I might got a couple of cousins that might be like, "Ooh, girl, what you got?" But no, not mom and auntie. No.
No. All right. Okay.
I'll give it to the cousins because I got some cousins. Yes, but no, not the mom and auntie. That's an extra no. No.
Okay. All right.
No. No,
Where are
but
my
my like
pearls
my
at? Where are my pearls?
I only
Yeah.
have one aunt. Mostly I have uncles, but I'll say this.
If you're gonna be on a stream with me, you better go get your pearls, Vonda. You're gonna be
Vonda's
clutching
always
them all
clutching her
night.
invisible pearls.
I
You better clutch them. You better clutch them.
I always have pearls.
You might
over
go get
here.
some rosary beads on top of that too. So.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Because
You know,
Ruby says I'm Satan, so
I did not say Satan exactly. Right? I
Exactly.
feel like you're over
I felt a little
exaggerating
bit
my
of heat.
point.
Thank you for telling me, because I did feel the little bit of heat, because it was something.
Right?
Oh,
Had to be
really?
something.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
No, you know what though? I will say this: my mom's mom is a problem, or was a problem, because she she's like an incessant flirt, right? Like even while married, my grandmother always had boyfriends, and she just likes men to take care of her and thinks she's beautiful and whatever, because she was in her younger days, right? Like to the point where it was problematic. Like I remember times where my mom was really upset at how much my grandmother was flirting with her husband, right? Or whatever. Not so much to like my boyfriends or whatever, but like to, you know, slightly older, like maybe 10, 15 years older than that. Oh yeah. My grandmother liked to flirt with I don't think she would have slept with any of those people, but she liked having all the attention on her in the moment. And you help her and she's a damsel in distress and all that. She really liked that attention, and she liked knowing she could pull that attention from you. So I mean, but it's still a stretch to me that you would then sleep with this person who's sleeping with your kid. Like, yuck. No. Just no. Like,
okay. Try being a man for like a couple of years. And
wow. No.
No. Just like,
yeah, you start learning yeah.
I'm a germaphobe. I could not.
The dark side of women, yeah.
Wait a minute. You got to be a man to learn the dark side of women?
Yes, you do.
Like what?
Yeah. There's certain guys, certain things that women do they will not tell their girlfriends about at all. Oh, that's gonna be buried. That's gonna be buried.
Well, okay. Do tell.
Okay. I'll give you an example.
Vonda, better clutch those pearls in advance, girl. Clutch those pearls in advance.
Get the rosary beads, right? Okay. This is something we always talk about. We call certain guys. I call them concubines, right? Certain guys I call concubines, right? And especially concubines, what's called sexual guys that are actually that are like a couple of class levels below that woman, right? Educationally wise, all kind of right. He does not fit amongst her, you know, amongst her, the rest of her life, right?
The class level, right?
The class level, right? So that guy's gonna be classified as a 12 to 5 guy.
Is he engaged or no?
No, she's not engaged. Oh. She's gonna call him at 11, 11:30, maybe once, twice a week. He's gonna get there at 12. He's gonna be gone by 5. Before the cock crows 3 times, he's gonna be out with a cup of coffee and a sandwich. Okay? Right. And her girlfriends will never ever know about that guy.
Professional side dude.
Will never know about that guy. Never know about that guy. Okay. And so there's a dark side that women have. Women actually really protect their reputation more than guys do, really. And women have a dark side that they will not tell their girlfriends about.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely correct when you say that women, will, go to great lengths to, protect their reputation. And this is a story that I was told, by my aunt about my grandmother. That my grandmother, before she married my grandfather, she was seeing him. Okay. And one morning the neighbor saw him sneaking out of her house. It was a sneak. Okay. And once after that neighbor saw them, they got married.
Too late. Because once the neighbor saw him, it got all the way around town.
That was it.
Back to family.
So, yeah. So it was like, it's like, oh my, I'm like, wow, okay.
Might as well bring him out. I'm already caught. Yeah.
And my grandmother, she went on to have 11 children with him.
Yeah, well, she made it work.
She did make it work. It did work, but I was just like, wow. I'm like,
yeah,
no.
it can. I'm not saying it can't work. What I'm saying is, Where I work, man, I work with a lots of women, and I saw a lot of stuff, heard a lot of stories on both sides. So I am very well acquainted with the dark side of women because I've seen what women do even when their husbands are not around.
BGS, stop it. There is no dark side of women. I need you to stop saying that. There is no dark side.
Hey, Ruby,
Hey,
Ruby, watch this. Come, my child, please come to the dark side. Come down. Yes, I can feel it growing in you.
There is no dark side to
I
women.
feel it growing in you. Yes, I see much darkness in you, do I? Yes.
There is the brightness and the light of day in women. You need to recognize that. I just think you have it wrong. That's all. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Vonda's gonna have nightmares tonight.
Okay,
good job.
I was just listening to Vlad TV actually talking about a interview on a drug dealer, high level drug dealer, right? Okay, guess who his second wife was? The mayor's daughter.
Wow.
Don't tell me that black women do not have a dark side. Yes, they do.
No.
They express it differently. Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Okay, all right.
Hey.
We'll talk about that later, but
hey, DeAndre, come in and save him. Come in and save him. Save him. They need saving.
Dark side.
Save her soul.
That's propaganda.
Come, young Skywalker. Come if you must. Save her soul.
The propaganda.
Listen, I'm sorry. Everybody has a dark side.
Yes.
I used to get paid by the dark side.
Yes.
So I am a retired professional side dude. My job is to keep you together with whoever you're with. And you know what I'm saying? Hey,
and keep her secrets. Yeah.
Keep her secrets. I listen to all the problems.
A few bad apples spoil your little batch. Your little batch.
Hit the switch a couple times and send her home.
Yep. Send her home. You know. Listen. I'm gonna tell you. Listen, but I guess I don't know. Maybe it's just the military thing, but. You know,
you come from near the DMV, man. You know that goes on all the time.
Oh yeah. Like shit. I thought when I got to Japan, it'd have been some decent. Nope, they just as worse. They just as worse. They worse. Listen, at least the ship. Like, okay, so at least, and I would say this, right? And this is the thing, right? All women. You know what I'm saying? You know, not all women, but. Women have a dark side like men have a dark side, right? They can't have a dark side unless somebody's feeding into it, right? Everybody's got to feed into the dark side. But what I did find out, right, is in the military, the black women had more decency and decorum than the rest of them because she would at least let the ship leave, right, for a couple of days before she was doing whatever she was doing, or she was messing with that dude, and then she would pass him over to a friend like 2 months prior. She'd clean everything up. It was the other women, right? The white women, and especially the Filipinos or the Asian women, they was the ones that get caught up. And you always hear the thing of the guy came back from deployment and he killed his wife and shot himself in the head.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. Because he came home and saw her. Not just one dude, but multiple dudes training her the hell out. The baby crying in the thing, his daughter walking around with a loaded pamper or something. You know what I mean? So the dark side, there's a dark side, and it's fed, and what I've seen is men feed into it, women feed into it because needs need to be met. Now, from what I've noticed, the reason why majority of women that do that, it's for something else. It's more emotional based. Men, we have after nut regret, right? We have that, right?
Yeah,
right?
we get a pre-nut, that'd be better, but we don't.
We don't, right? Like, because the way we do it is everything, a lot of things.
But if you do it with the same person enough time, that goes away. You know that, right?
Yeah, it goes away. Yeah, so, yeah, it does. Like, look, if you're restricted, like I'm gonna say it like this, right? I have dealt with women, right? Their attitude was funky, it's horrible and whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm telling you, Vonda, that 6 months ain't popping though. I'm telling you. She gone. 6 months. Ain't nobody waiting 6 months for nothing.
6 months is not a long time. You'll be.
Yes, it is. Condoms go bad in 5 months.
How much?
Lord.
How much is your yearly salary, or thereabouts?
Was it me?
No, hers. Yeah.
Why? What?
I mean,
why is my yearly salary?
No, I'm saying because it makes a difference.
Are they related?
Yes, they are.
It is.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Can you, DeAndre?
Okay, well,
DeAndre, you're supposed to be over schooling these women, man. What are you? You're slacking. You're slacking, DeAndre. You're slacking. You're slacking, man. You're slacking. She should know better.
That's good. See, listen, but the thing that
come on. You're slacking, DeAndre. You need to school her, man.
No,
you need to school her, man.
No, look. It's good. This is good.
It does. Let us school me because I must not have been in class on that day. I missed that day.
Do you make over 6 figures?
No, I absolutely do not.
Okay, so in other words, if you make enough money, and basically the equation actually works, he'll wait a year. Because I know with the friend I was talking about, the guy she dated, he waited too. But she's worth a whole lot of money.
Oh yeah, you gonna wait on that? You'll wait. You'll wait on her.
Yeah, okay, well he's not waiting for her. He's waiting because
no. He's actually she's worth 20. He's worth like 100. So he makes way more money. But the thing is, to find a woman in that particular class, they don't find a woman making. There's only like what, even 6 figures. There's only like 6% of women that make over 6 figures. That's just 6 figures. That's 100,000. Okay. To get somebody making 7 and 8, that goes way, way down as far as females that are not married.
Yep. But he waited for it. He didn't pressure or nothing like that.
No,
but
he waited for it.
Yeah, but trips to Vegas is nice.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't waiting, but he waited for her. Like she didn't know about it. Yeah, he waited, but
he didn't wait.
I mean, he wasn't celibate the whole time. But he
didn't pressure her, right? That's what I was saying, Vonda. Is a man ain't waiting. Like he's not. A man ain't. Listen, a man ain't waiting.
No,
for
6 months.
No. He's not going to do that. Look, I was on
90 days tops.
You guys need to cut it out. I just need for both of you guys to
stay away from me.
You know what?
Hey, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, Vonda.
Get
thee behind me, Satan. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, Vonda. You'll feel better. You'll feel better.
You guys don't know 6 months. You act like it is like 14 years. It's not that bad.
If you want to sleep with a guy the first time you meet him.
Absolutely, but you know what? Because you're getting to meet someone, you should be patient with that.
No,
my fiance tried that 6 month shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her 90 days. I said, but in the meantime, don't call me on Saturday.
Oh God, you know what, BGS?
You know why? I told her not to call me on Saturday?
You're gonna have someone else.
I'm gonna be having sex with somebody else.
You know what?
Hey, guess what happened a week later, Vonda?
She was there.
She was there. Yes, she was.
You know what?
Okay, but here's the thing, though, right? Vonda's lived experience, right, is that until you're more serious and committed, right, you're waiting. That's my lived experience as well. And if a man thinks that you personally are worth it, then he will wait for you.
Okay.
Right?
There is a circumstance where a man will wait, right? Yeah. He'll actually wait for you and won't mess around on that kind of stuff. But you have to make it well worth his while to actually wait on you.
Explain that. Explain what's well worth his wait.
In other words, in fact, what's her name? What's her name? What's it? Fitness Mom. She actually explained it, right? With her husband, right? Why he waited, right? No sex, but guess what she did? She cooked for him. She washed his clothes. She ran some of his errands. They sat and watched TV. She was emotionally, everything else is there except sex. Okay.
Right.
And she made it, she made her value so much more he was willing to wait. You can do that. Most women, guess what? Most women are too lazy to do that.
BGS.
That's how I live, though.
Wait a minute. Let's just get this clear. You're saying laundry. You're saying laundry and meals. Laundry and meals.
Yes.
And on top of that,
Char got jokes tonight. Oh, you got jokes. You got jokes tonight.
I think that's a little excessive. I think that's excessive.
Do you want to know how men think or not?
I'm listening to how y'all.
In other words, now, DeAndre can tell you, and you probably know that there's very few men who actually sit here and explain this stuff to you.
No, I haven't. Listen, no, for real. When we always have these conversations, I always have Vonda clutching the pearl.
I have my objection because I'm just like, what? Wait a minute.
You're slacking. You're slacking, DeAndre.
Come
Come
again.
again. Come. Okay. There's sex, just like anything else, right? If you look at it non-emotionally, right? Everything has currency. Emotional support, errands, money, all kinds of other things have a certain currency. Sex has a currency too. Okay, and that equation has to balance. Okay, if you want him to be celibate while he's waiting on you, you have to make it worth his while.
And you know
what are you doing? What are you doing for him that he's not going to go out and have sex with a couple other chicks while he's waiting on you?
You know what? If you put it like that, and me and him discuss it like that, that's great. You know, some men are not as forthcoming, you know, and they're not as transparent, and they're just not going to bring it out like that. But hey, you bring it out like that, like hey.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did it with her because she became my fiance. Eventually, I really wanted her.
Okay, some dudes like,
other than that,
they don't even break it down like that.
I would have said 90. I'd tell her 90 days, and then she would just have to call me on Saturday. Why aren't you there when I call you on Saturday or Friday? Don't worry about it.
You know what? We're gonna bypass the Saturday. We're bypassing Saturday.
Okay, but you know what? Okay, wait, Vonda, because the thing is, I actually kind of agree with that, probably because that's just the way that I am, but also because it's just the way that I am, right? But I'm gonna I'm gonna say this. No, it really is. Okay, listen, I'm all kinds of things, but I'm very domestic. It's just how I am. Like, if I go to your house and your laundry's all over the damn place and I'm there for any extended amount of time, I'm probably going to clean your shit up. That's just how I am. And I like to cook for myself. So that means I'm going to be feeding you too, because you're coming over all the time. But see, I guess that's my point. I'm not like, actually, I have a friend who does literally, the man buys the food that he wants her to cook and she cooks it and drives it to his house. And this is just basically... What? This is her fake boyfriend right now. It's not even her real boyfriend.
It's called courting, Vonda. They used to do that. They used to do that, 50 years ago. It's called courting.
You cook the food and you're gonna drive it to his house.
She drives it to his house, and she doesn't even catch the joke now, right? So, and he does buy enough so she can cook some for her kids too. She's a vegetarian, so she doesn't even eat the meat and stuff like that. But she's an amazing cook, and she drives it to his house. Right, and he eats, and they have amazing sex all night, and she goes back home to her kids. Yeah.
Okay.
She's good with that. I've never seen her do it before in my entire life. When I first met this chick, and when she met her fiance, who she had the extra kids with, she didn't even know how to cook, and she didn't really like to cook and stuff like that. I've never seen her go out of her way for any damn budget.
She had to qualify. She had to qualify. Yeah, she had to qualify herself for him.
Right, but I'll say this, like when it comes to me, right? So to me, I don't think sex is part or shouldn't be part of the getting to know you process. So at first, yeah, we're going to go on dates, but eventually you're going to see my place. I'm going to see yours. We're going to need to spend time with each other. We're going to need to, I mean, on both sides, because not like I'm saying, well, you better prove that you have worth to me. But the point is that if I don't see that you're worth something in my life, why am I going to spread my legs for you? And vice versa.
You don't
right?
say it, but you don't say it, but that's already assumed.
Yeah, but exactly, right? So therefore, yeah, you're kind of on your best behavior, but you're also showing what you got. So he's going to offer to always get out and fill my tank, right? Or he's going to be like, oh, your tank's low. Okay. You know, if you go sit down, I'm going to go run out to the gas station and fill up your tank really quick. Because he wants to show that he's that kind of guy. Or, oh, your cupboard's broken. Let me fix that for you quick, right? So he wants to show that he's that kind of guy who takes care of stuff, right? Just like I'm going to show him the kind of woman that not only am I going to cook for you, but it's going to be epic.
But
right, and you want to come back for this food. Like my husband, hold on, my husband lied to his mom for 6 months and kept like pretending he was eating dinner at her house, and he would like secretly find a way to throw it out so he could eat dinner at my house because my food was better than hers. But he didn't want to tell her because he was a mama's boy. So my point is though, right, is that you do these kinds of things. If you're not having sex, you have a whole lot of other time.
Yeah,
you have to fill it with other things. Other than what are you gonna do? Just keep watching movies? Like
yeah, Netflix and no chill. Nah, we can't.
Right. You know, you gotta do other shit.
I was trying to be nice, DeAndre.
No,
just messed it up.
No,
stop it. You know what? No,
she knows.
Brother, I'm gonna explain something to you. I'm gonna tell you this, right? And I said this before. Okay. Now, and this is me in the military, right? So they don't have all male ships anymore. There's a reason for this. Okay, right? Women are on ships. Do a woman and in the environment, should she be on a ship? No, she should not, right? Because you stuff 70 females in a sleeping area, their periods all going to cycle around the same time.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, if there's any breakdown in equipment or sanitary, that is the worst thing ever, right? Why would the United States Navy, the world's most powerful Navy, remember there are nuclear shit running around the globe with missiles and all kinds of shit. Why would they put something on a vessel that could possibly bring down the productivity of keeping the nation or the world safe, with quotation marks? You know why? Because they have found out that if you keep men out of the legs of women for more than 90 days, scientifically proven, they are hyper aggressive. They do all kinds of shit. Right? They will lose their freaking minds. They will fight each other. They will have a mental breakdown, all of this stuff, right? And they first figured this out on actually World War II when they had the hospital ships, because the guys that would die, that had these, injuries, they would put them on the ships, and the women that were there were the nurses, and they got the prettiest women to be nurses. Some of them weren't really nurses. They just walked around with the uniform because it's something soothing watching your leg being blown off to look at a pretty face to act like they give a fuck about you. It's just how we built. It's just something about a man that, listen, you're blowing stuff up, you're killing people.
Especially a young man.
Yeah. Especially a young man, and then when you come out of the jungles and you done blew this dude arms off, you see these kids crying, and then some woman wrapping her legs around you make you not feel like a monster.
That is true.
I'm just telling you what it is.
That is true.
And we're built. Listen, anything after 90 days, dudes start twitching. He has to have some level. He's got to really be into
Dre,
love you.
We're gonna grant you disability for your additional 90 days.
Wanda. So what she said? 6 months, right?
You know what?
Well, Vanda's not advised a year.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
You said a year. The question I'm gonna ask.
Wait a minute.
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. See, I wasn't gonna get on the panel.
Well, let her finish.
I wasn't gonna get on the panel.
Let her finish first.
Somebody lying. I'm not gonna allow this lie to go any further. Somebody lying.
Oh God.
It is for me personally. For me, 6 months.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Hell no.
Let her get the lie out. Let her get the lie out. Let her get the lie out first. Okay, then we
There is no lie. All I'm saying is that I don't think, and I do not believe that 6 months is a
eternity when it comes to cooking.
It's not.
It's really not.
When you're getting to know someone,
do you put this in practice? Do you put this in practice? I want to ask.
Okay. Yes, I do.
So how do you? So what do you do in the 6 months while he's waiting? How do you make up? How do you prove your?
Call him on Saturday. Is you home?
Oh Lord, not if he has the rule that we just spoke about.
I know you told me not to call you on Saturday.
Oh,
no, okay,
you want to do that for 5 months. I wish the hell I would call somebody on Saturday to see if they fucking for the rest of the week because you ain't gave me enough.
I want to hear an explanation. Okay, how do you make up the value? What do you do? If you're dating somebody who has to waste
cook, clean, they got Uber Eats for that.
Can you let her get it out?
No, there is no value to make up. The value is basic. No, listen.
Okay.
The value is in getting to know the person.
How do you do that? How do you? You know there's music doing that.
Okay.
Okay. We
now,
met.
You know what?
Hold on a second.
Okay,
we meet.
Yeah.
We said we're gonna date.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna have sex for 6 to 9 months, right?
We're not even, you know what? We're not even stating that at the very beginning.
This is just for clarity. Okay, stop for a second. Stop being so reactive. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, let me get to the question first.
If you guys
hold on. Let me get to the question first. Before you get to, let me get to the question first, okay? Please.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
We've agreed to this, right? So now what are me and Vonda doing for 9 months?
Can I put the head in?
No. So what are we doing in this 9 months? Okay. In detail, what are we doing?
Listen, you know, you've embellished it to 9 months. My original, stance was 6 months.
Okay, 6 months. What are we doing? 6 months. Super nuts. What are we doing?
I felt that 6 months is a.
We don't cuddle.
That's not the question I asked. I asked you. Okay, 6 months.
I feel like 6 months is a great time.
I'm gonna go home with blue balls.
I understand.
Am I talking?
I know what I'm saying is. You've already established it. What are we? The question was, what are we doing in the 6 months? How are we dating? How are we interact? That's the question I want to know.
We are spending time together. We are
doing what? Doing what?
We're talking. We're actually getting to know each other. If we don't know each other,
I got to wait 6 months.
So we're talking on the phone. All we're doing is talking on the phone.
But you guys have to understand that in that 6 month period of time, it's not like we only have time for each other. We do have, a life. We have a job. We have other things going on. So there's only going to be so much time that we can spend with each other. So in that interim, we're going to be getting to know each other. We're not going to be, just laying down and, having sex with each other.
So in other words, in the 6 months, even though he's dating, he's open. He's actually allowed to see somebody else.
You know what? If that I'm asking. You know what, if that's something that we discuss and he brings that up to me and he says, you know what, we're not going to be doing this, so this is the way I feel about it, you know what, I can agree with that, and I would be okay with him doing that if he's being honest.
I'm asking I'm asking in the real world, since you've done this, right, how does it play out? Because you've done this is the way you date. How does it play out? What do you do? In other words, how do you guys interact? There's going to be sexual tension. How do you get around that? How do you actually date? How often do you see him? How often do you talk on the phone? When you go out on dates, does he pay? Do you pay? Do you cook? Do you clean? What do you do in the 6 months?
Well, I'm sorry, when I feel like when I'm getting to know somebody, I'm not cooking and cleaning. We're not even, at that level.
So you don't. So basically,
Not to-
you're not. So are you dating or are you just friends?
We are actually starting to know each other and starting
Nah.
to date.
Okay.
So when you start dating somebody,
with no
you gonna be
benefits.
cooking and cleaning for them.
No, wait, let me ask you a question, Vonda. Wait, I have a question. So, Vonda, in this 6-month period of time before you actually have sex, is there going to be intimacy, just not intercourse?
There possibly could be intimacy.
Okay, we're dodging. Okay.
What is dodging? What is dodging?
In other words, you're not answering.
Intimacy could be hugging. Intimacy could be
okay. When I
hands.
say intimacy, I'm saying it like this. To me, that 6-month period of time is about a period of time, and it's not specifically 6 months. It's just until we're in a committed monogamous relationship, we're in love, we see this going somewhere, I'm not sleeping with you. But with that being said, we're building something. So we're building, getting to know you, whatever. We're going to eventually kiss. And then, you're kind of rounding the bases slowly over that 6 months. For me, at least personally, right before I'm ready to really get down to that part. So there is actual physical, intimacy going on, but it's not full out intercourse until I'm already in a committed monogamous relationship. So I guess I was asking, so Vonda, you feel like similarly to that, right? Like you're building something. So over time, everything builds. You become closer, you might become more physical over time. You spend more time, you're willing to do more things for this person as time progresses and you get more serious.
Yeah, because I'm not sitting up here getting to know somebody and part of the getting to know the person is having sex.
Okay. Now I do got to say this, right? So and I see where Vonda's coming from, what she's saying, right? You know what I'm saying? I see what she's saying, and actually, what she's saying, I can see that because that works. That's taking agency over yourself, because the problem is you could get pregnant, right? And then you got to deal with each other for 18 years. And you know what I mean? So when Vonda says that, I'm fine with it, right? But I'm just letting her know on the back end of the spectrum, right? Because for people that are listening, they're going to run and take it. Yeah, we should go with 6 months. Hold out on the pussy. No. You can hold out on the pussy, but he's not going to hold out getting some pussy. You know what I'm saying? For 6 months. I'm just letting you. So we let this go. It's clear.
And the old place used to call that the farm team.
Yeah.
You're on a farm team.
So in essence, you're not building a relationship.
You are, but it's not sexual.
Honestly, what is the relationship?
Is that the only way to build a relationship?
It's a non-sexual relationship. When players put a woman on the farm team, he's building that kind of trusting relationship without sex. But he has other women, so she hasn't moved up to the majors yet. They do that all the time. You see players, okay, who's she, man? I got her on the farm team. She'll be ready about a year and a half.
Before you buy a car, you check under the hood.
I'm gonna talk to her. I might take her out. I'll take her out like maybe a couple times a month. I'm serious.
You got any broke down? You got some broke down cars in your yard then? Okay. Yeah, sounds like that. Let me ask you a question.
You're thinking about a car instead of an athlete, okay?
Well, it's the same principle.
In other words, they invest a whole lot of money and send a guy down to AAA or single AAA, right? And they moving him up slowly until he gets to the big leagues. A lot of guys they got a roster, right? They have a roster, so they're constantly letting people go and bringing people up, right? So they have what they call a farm team, right? In other words, a young girl or a woman that he's just met, and he's trying to bring her along slowly to actually be part of his team. So he's gonna put her on the farm team. He's not gonna have sex with her. He's just he might date her, here or there. He's gonna call her up. He's gonna do little cute things for her, and slowly but surely he's gonna bring her up until she's ready to actually move up and become part of the team. That's the farm team. So if Vonda, I know Vonda's not going to sleep with him for 6 months, she might be on the farm team. Like, okay, I understand that. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm gonna put her on the farm team. I'm gonna bring her up slowly. So by the time she's ready, okay, this chick this give me a headache. I can get rid of her and bring Vonda in.
I guess that would work. That would work in some worlds.
It works. Talk to some Macs, man, and they'll tell you. Tell him, DeAndre.
Why does why does that sound so horrible?
Tell him, DeAndre.
Well, it works.
Scheme?
I do have this. I do have this, and it does work. But I do have this, right? I'm pretty sure, and because I don't think Vaughn has explained all the way, right? I'm pretty sure within a 45 to 90 day period, Vonda ain't just still going to be with the dude. She's pretty much going to let the dude go because she knows within 45 days or 90 days. Most men is either going to check out, check on, and check off.
You're right, and to me, that's your way of eliminating the competition. Listen, I'm not going to double down on my principles and say I'm not giving you the cookies for 6 months. If you can't deal with that, move on. Eventually, Vonda will find that guy that's willing to wait for that 6 months. For the most of us, that's not going to happen. I'm not waiting 6 months. You're going to send me a picture of it every day. Look what you're going to get in 6 months.
Oh my God!
Now, I know plenty of guys that have had women on the farm team for 3 to 4 years. My best friend, his wife, he had on the farm team for like 5 years.
Even on the farm team, you bring him up to practice for a little while. Let me see what you can do.
No, he didn't have sex with her. He didn't have sex with her. I'm serious.
But you see how this works, right? Like it's like you said, you got to have something, right? You got to have something to substitute, right? So and we as men, right? If we have something to substitute, right? Like if they and I like, to Vonda's credit, she said, okay, well, if this is what I'm demanding of you, right? In our relationship, and you're telling me straight up that, hey, okay, we can still date in this, but we're not having sex. But if you got somebody that you can get that stress out for on, then I'm cool with that. We work that out.
We'll work that out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here's the issue, right? And that's where we give Vonda the respect, and Ruby and so forth. It's straight up. It's a compromise. When women say, they can wait 90 days, 6 months. Oh, you can't be talking to nobody. You got to be up there dry.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm with you right now. Listen, I got a steady girlfriend. Got me a steady girlfriend. As soon as she give me some, I'm cutting you loose. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
No, well, you should say it, but how many people do you actually say that? You should say.
I'm just saying. I mean, just think about it. This is basically some of the things you would have to say. If we speak in actual and practical. So so you're not building a relationship. If you call yourself
it should work that way.
No, you don't even have to do that, guys. It's hookup culture. Tinder, Bumble, all these places are places people go just to go, and I mean women just to get some. And that's it. They never want to see you again either. So you don't even have to have awkward conversations and blah, blah, blah anymore. You just go look for a casual hookup. There's a whole bunch of women who are willing to give it up for that, because that's what they're looking for too.
Now I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say this, right?
It's like, then there's that one chick that doesn't want to do that, and it should be okay. You're like,
no, it's okay. Actually, we need those women because I'm like, those women need to be there. It's like this, right? I'm gonna say it like this: like there are a select group of men that will be dry and wait, right? And those men are needed because they give women hope when we fuck up. Right? No, for real. I'm just being real. You need that, right? When you have too much of something, everything's off balance. So you need that. But like I said before, and I said this, everybody laughed at me, right? Ruby used to laugh when I used to say it a lot. We talking back, and I used to say this all the time. The articles of prostitution are now no longer on the table. The articles of prostitution, thanks to that wonderful place called Baltimore, is now wide open. So Vonda can wait till Jesus comes.
Nobody mentioned Jesus.
But reason. But think about this, right? Think about this. When that, and I'm saying this, this is not for women. This is how men operate, right? If women could do that in the back in the days, the pre-60s and stuff, right? Because that was available. The cat houses were available, right? So I know there's a difference, right? Now, this woman here, right, this is what she's here for. She's volunteered, for this service, right? She, what I mean?
It's a service,
It's a service. It's just like buying a cheeseburger, right? Now, You can't go, you can't go to Ruby Chris every week. Sometimes you need to just go grab a cheeseburger and go, right? Keep it up, right? So that's what that's for. Not every guy is going to involve himself into that, period, or whatever. But if I'm dating this woman seriously and I want to deal with her seriously and I want to build and stuff like this, but what I got on my brain is I want to get them. I want to get
which brain is that? Is that the upper or the lower?
That's the lower brain. The lower brain is going up, right?
Okay.
And then here's the other problem. Here's the other issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once I get it, right? If I'm waiting long enough, it's good. But if I'm getting it again, and it's and it's not up to the level of old girl that I get to roll in at 12 o'clock in the morning and roll out before you got to go. You made me wait this long for this. I ain't got time to be teaching you shit.
That's true. See, and here goes that's my problem. Again, no disrespect.
Dang, y'all over there high fiving. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we are high fiving. Because he made a valid point. What if you wait 6 months? After you get to 6 months, y'all do the dastardly deed and you wake up the next morning. This wasn't worth waiting no damn 6 months. Give me my time back.
She better be. That's why she better be well worth something outside of the bedroom.
You might have to cook.
Like her, in addition to waiting the 6 months, you do, essentially like this woman. You do like her.
No, but the fact, no. You know what? Here's why I disagree with you guys. First of all, because men used to want to marry virgins. Virgins are going to be crap at sex. You got to teach them what you want them to know.
Well, she better be a virgin.
Right.
Okay. That's not my point. My point is this: is that if someone is crap in bed because they're not that experienced or because you're just on different vibes, y'all could learn each other and it can get better. But point number two is this. Okay, that whole 6 months. It's not like, you could sit there, right, and be a scumbag and just wait out the 6 months just so you can hit it once and bounce. But generally,
people have.
But generally, right, if you're like someone, I'm like this, I'm pretty sure Vonda doesn't actually literally give it a 6 month timeline. It's just more like until we get to a certain place, I'm not having sex with you because I don't have casual sex.
We using her words.
Right? Hold on. No, but no, this is established in a conversation a long time ago. So unfortunately.
I'm not necessarily saying it has to be 6 months, but it could be up to 6 months.
Right, it could be a while. So the point is that within that period of time, y'all might decide, hey, we don't get along very well, or this isn't really going to go anywhere, and then it breaks off before that. The whole point is
that's why you had to ram in the bush.
The whole point is that in this day and age, right, if women were to sleep with every guy that they date for a few months, by the time they get to 25 to 27, they're going to have like 50 to 100 sexual partners.
They do.
So that's not. Well, see, and that's problematic. A lot of guys do have an issue with these super high counts. So how do women avoid doing that? Well, they do exactly what we're saying, which is sex is not part of the getting to know you process.
They have a problem with it, but guess what? Men are ultimately practical. If that's all there is, guess what you're going to do?
Well, I think the problem is that men want to sleep with women right away, but they want to marry someone who didn't do that. So the problem, there's a catch-22 for women as well, because we're hearing this from men, but we're like, okay, you know what? Even if I didn't personally have an issue with sleeping with so many guys, which I do, right? Yeah. Men would have an issue. If I said I slept with 75 guys, that's going to lower my value to him.
If you're gonna make a dude wait 6 months, 6 to whatever months, right? It better be a long-term relationship after that.
Yeah.
Well, because in theory, that's what you're building towards. And if it's not going to get there, you break it off before that.
If you're making him wait 6 months just to break it off, after you get together, then guess who's at fault?
No, that's not the point. The point is no. See, this is the whole point. Wait, no, hear me out. Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. When I say that's not the point, my point is that sex is not part of the getting to know you process. So if you're not having casual, for you it is. For me, it's not. For Vonda, it's not. Hold on.
For us, it is. Yeah.
For some people, it is. For some people, it's not.
Yes, it is.
However,
for men, it is.
Yeah. However, for us, it's not. So what we're saying is this. If the relationship isn't going somewhere, we're not going to have sex with you. I don't care how long we sit there and date trying to figure each other out.
That's
right.
Fine.
So therefore, then sometime in the first 2, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you're definitely way before 6 months going to figure out this isn't going anywhere. We don't like each other like that. We don't have the same ideals. This isn't building. And then you break it off. Like,
So
why would I keep dating you just so I can have sex with you at the end of 6 months and then stay with you because what?
Now flip it and put it on the guy's side. Say that that most women are like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you invest in, because you're not, basically she's not dating you and it's cheap, right? You have to take her on dates, okay? You have to invest into her, right? Now say every 3 months, you invest in a woman and it blows up, don't get nothing at the end of it, and you got to go start all over again. You do that like 4 or 5 times. You basically invested in 15 months, and where are you?
Well, here's the issue with that, right?
I ask you a question.
And
where are you?
eventually,
Hold on. Whoa. Answer my question first.
You're in a place where you haven't learned that you don't have to. A wife is not going to want you blowing your bank account for you guys to get to know each other, because going for going and chilling somewhere and just talking, right? Going for a coffee and just talking. Sometimes having a shared experience together of going somewhere doesn't cost a lot of money. Sure, occasionally you're gonna, maybe the first few dates or whatever, but in general, why are you breaking the bank to get to know someone?
How many women actually do that?
A lot of women are actually talking about that.
We cannot speak for all women, but there are women that enjoy that. My thing is that, when it comes to dating, money does not have to be the issue, because we're trying to get to know each other, not how much money you can spend on a date.
Right.
Taking me out. That's ridiculous. I want to get to know the person, the man that I'm dating. I'm dating the person.
If that was the case of the vast majority of women, then guys probably wouldn't have as big of a problem.
Right, but here's but that's a second issue on top of that. That's why that's why our divorce rate is so high. People who are ready for marriage should not get married. And so if you're going to sit there and pay your way into a marriage with someone, it's probably not going to work out in the end. So you know what? Leave that girl alone. Wait till you find the one who values you.
The reason the divorce rate is so high is that women are no longer prepared to be wives. They're not trained to be wives anymore. They're partners and not wives. That's why it breaks up so fast. Okay?
Right. No, right. But that's my whole point.
The expectations have to be different, because women of today are not the women that they were 50 years ago. Times have changed.
No, they stopped training. I can tell you, because I'm a boomer, right? The silent generation stopped training women to be wives then. Okay, back then.
No, I'm gonna say this, right, and this is the thing, and this is the thing. I'm let y'all in on the secret, right? The women on the panel, I'm gonna let y'all in the secret. Men know that, right? Men know that women, their job, right? Their job is to protect that part of them, right? That's who they are. That's what it is. That's what makes them a woman. That what makes them pure. Their chastity, right? We're told this, right? We even little jokes like, "Oh, she went, man. You mess with her, man. Don't even try that, man. She got a chastity belt on." Like we say little things between each other. You're not, hey, bro, you ain't gonna get that far, bro. Like, I know who you is. She ain't about to let that happen, and ain't nobody around her about to let that happen. She ain't like that. Like, we actually talk to each other like this all the time as men within our own little circles. We know this. Our job is to get that. That's our job. That is put in our DNA. That's the battle, right? You're to protect it. We're to get it, right? Now, Eva, the thing is we come to the point now, like you said, you're getting to know us has nothing to do with that, because you're protecting that, because that is sacred, right? Us getting to know you because we're more physical, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's how we get to know you, right? Because the way society is set up is, I have to be with this woman for the rest of our life. Emotionally, as a person, great. Physically, what's better than good pussy? New pussy. I'm just being honest with you. That's how men think. And when we get older and we have more experience and we get tired of it, then the lower head, the testosterone levels start to equal out, right? And our logic starts to come down, and we stop making dumb decisions because there's consequences for running around and doing that. And then your reputation between women get fucked up. Hey, don't mess with him. He's just gonna pump and dump you and leave you alone and all of this other stuff. So I get it.
And sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it works against you.
It works against you. It's how you deal with those situations. It's how, but men and women, and this is the thing where, we're equal to a point, but that is the difference in the nuances, that it's built in how we're wired.
That's the game. That's the game.
That's the game. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like women that get older, right? Like women that get older, after a certain point where their testosterone levels go up and their estrogen levels go down, they want it. That's why you see a lot of these, older women, they're, because they take care of themselves, they get that MILF time, you know what I'm saying? They get that second run, you know what I'm saying? You get the Jada Pickett with the, the whole,
entanglements, huh?
Entanglement, like that.
See, y'all gotta always make it sound everything.
That's her word.
That was her word. Like, but here's the thing, right? If you think about it like this, here's the thing. That entanglement happened, right? But if you look through the news, right, nowadays, if you hear the teachers, right, before it was a woman teacher? That's crazy. I ain't never heard it. Now it's so normalized that it's happening, right? And then if you look at their ages, right, they're usually 40 and over.
35 and over. Yeah.
35 and over, right? And you know what I'm saying? And these young boys, right? And should they get any special treatment than men do? But let's just put the nail on its head real quick, right? It shouldn't be done to a young boy, but more likely out of not, the only time she gets caught is when another boy wants some of that and he snitches, or another teacher sees
because boys don't get pregnant, so
boys don't
get pregnant, so it's not as big a deal,
right?
But it's still messed up emotionally in his head. He's still messed up because it's an older woman, right? So he's screwed for the rest of his life. No matter what woman he's with, he's kind of a little different. You know what I mean? Because he's not growing.
He's learned before his time.
Exactly, and now he's running around with the tools of the kingdom, but without the agency to know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
The thing is, anybody's ever dated an older woman as a young man, right? When you come back to women your own age, there's a gap. It's a gap. So it's hard to get used to because they sound silly to you when you go back down.
Yeah, and even the execution. When it comes to the sexual thing,
because they don't know, so
they don't know. The technique is not good.
Well, I want to say this. Here's the thing, right? As a young girl, right? My mom was teaching me lessons before I even understood what the hell she was talking about, right? But it comes down to something that a lot of teen girls might have been taught, but they don't really process until their 20s, right? Is that having sex with the guy doesn't get him to stay with you, doesn't get him to love you, doesn't get him to want you anymore. Right. But a lot of girls, like in their early sexual phases, that's what they think. Right. Because that's how they feel. Right?
It happens in their 30s too. Don't get it twisted.
Some people don't, some people take longer than others.
More than you think. No.
Eventually they catch on. But my point is this. My point is this, right? My point is this, right? Women and men, obviously, as you said, they think differently. We should have different objectives. In essence, hoe culture is pervasive because women are allowing it. Hoe culture wasn't pervasive before because women were keeping their legs closed because they understood that men wanted the milk, but they weren't getting it for free.
What it is that's before birth control. You had a high risk of getting pregnant and having to keep that little bugger, right?
Yeah, but abortion was still pretty pervasive in the 60s, 70s. I mean, abortion, it's just for a certain class.
It didn't get pervasive until after 73. Because I
for a certain class. Actually, you know what? I did a lot of research on this. So in the upper middle class white people, they were getting a lot of abortions and they were getting it through the Catholic Church.
But the thing is, how many people are in the upper class?
Well, upper middle class to upper class? Well,
like 10%, right?
Well, that's upper class, but then the upper middle class, you add an additional 20%.
Upper middle class is 10%. Okay. The upper class is 1%. What I'm saying, I grew up in the era. Abortions and birth control were not that pervasive in the 70s. I know. Okay.
No, I didn't say birth control. I said abortion. But my point is simply this.
Even abortions were expensive and not as pervasive as you think.
Right, but my point would still remain even without that being valid. Right. Although again, I think that the answer lies somewhere between what both of us said. And I was not talking about the Black community. I was, like I said, I did clarify that I was talking about white folks. So I wanted to make that clear. Now, with that being said, though, right, my point still remains, which is this, because I'm not even talking about going back to the 60s and 70s. I'm talking about watching here where I'm in a country where it's just beginning. Hoe culture is just starting. It's behind America. Yeah, in comparison, remember I told you when I was in high school, being a hoe was a really disgusting thing. If you gave head to someone, even if they were your boyfriend, you were disgusting, right? So like now, right, we're like 10, 20 years later, now things are turning around. But when I was in high school, things were different. So I'm watching that evolution happen. And we had birth control and all those things available. Right. So the thing is,
remember, if you're a student of history, right? After birth control and abortion, what happened in the late 60s and 70s? It's called what? The sexual revolution.
Right. But again, I'm not talking about America. I'm telling you about an actual change. Hold on. I'm talking about an actual qualitative change you can measure in Canada that's behind America. Right. And where abortion, birth control, I mean, both these things are actually free here. And yet we're still behind America. So what I'm saying is this, that men have always been horny whores. They always have. Like men overall haven't changed. So what changed? Women changed.
Women, yes.
Right?
I'm telling you.
Now, okay, so that was point number one. Point number two that I was making, again, is that it was a lot more risky in my time. Hold on. Let me make my point.
Okay. Well, you made several, but which
I
one?
did. I know, but they're all connected. So it was a lot more risky. Well, I had to fill the holes because you were challenging like me just going forward. So I had to fill the holes.
All right. Go ahead.
So in my time, right, it was a lot more risky for us to give into that whole, but I love him and I don't want him to leave me and I'm scared he might leave me. It was a lot more risky socially, right? Whereas now it's not risky to give into that at all. Right? Because it's actually popular. So, you know, it might be your first time, but hey, the whole world's a whore. So who cares? Right? Whereas it actually mattered in my time because you know what? If he slept with you today and then left you tomorrow, you'd be shamed as the whore. Right? So I'm saying women are looking at other factors and we are actually factoring in these things because we care very deeply. As you said, women are always working to protect their reputations, right? And so women are the deciding factor. They're keeping their legs closed or they're opening them. And normally the way we are starting down this journey is we're opening our legs to do what? To keep a man or to get the man, because we think one of those two things is going to help us. And either way, it doesn't help us. That's all I was saying.
Okay. Go read. Janet Yellen actually did a very good paper called the end of the shotgun marriage, right? She actually talked about this in America, right? And the transition from the sexual revolution to the hookup culture. She talked about this, right? Women change first, okay? Women had birth control, they had abortion rights, all that kind of stuff, right? So men said so women became more adventurous, right? And what happened over time within the first, I would say the first 10 years of abortion, which is the abortion and birth control, Planned Parenthood, which is from 1970 to 1980. What men found out is hey, you know, there's always some other woman that will actually give me sex. So if you're gonna hold off for 6 months, or you're gonna wait till marriage, and you have birth control, you have abortion, all that kind of stuff, all these rights. Hey, if you don't do it, some other chick will, and that's what started happening. And over time, guess what you had to do? You had to start having to compete for men, whereas before, a guy knew if he took a risk, got you pregnant, and had sex with you, he's gonna have to marry you, because socially, physically, socially, and even the law is gonna put more pressure on you to marry that woman because you just brought a child into the world. But then once they gave the women the option of not bringing a child into the world, men knew that. So you have an option of actually being on birth control or having an abortion. You don't have to bring a child into the world. So guess what you can do? You can have sex without all this marriage and all this other pomp and circumstances. And over time, you're going to erode. Guess what you're going to erode? Marriage and those kind of relationships. And I saw the big change in the 90s. Okay, when it was actually a free for all.
Yeah, and we're about to close. So to go back a little bit, what you just said, as far as when the men said, "Hey, you're going to have to give it up, or else I'm going somewhere else," and it just shows that women will adapt to the environment. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I thank you so much. I went on and extended it since we had BGS on the panel.
Right, long time, BGS, long time.
Sure.
Nice warring with you again, sir. Yeah.
DeAndre, you got to work on your girl, man. She behind, man. She behind, man. She behind. She shouldn't be talking like this, man. She behind, man. Hey, it's your fault, man. You ain't school. Hey, nigga. You ain't schooled her. Stop it.
Listen.
If I'm shocking her, and I really haven't said anything shocking, it means you're lacking in your duties, sir.
Well, you know, I've been told, because where I live at, I do not have the qualifications to say anything. So you know what I'm saying, by other folks, not people here, but other folks. So I be quiet. You know what I mean? I'm in my Tucker Carlson bag right now.
So she's pouring holy water on me and grabbing the rosary beads, and you're behind. Then you're derelicting your duty.
He's so serious.
Where my pearls at? Where my pearls at? Oh my God! Oh, wait a minute! Get behind me, Satan! No!
I didn't even mention Satan, not one time.
Oh my God! I can't believe it!
I was just trying to clarify. That's all I was trying to do, was clarify where you were.
Poor Vonda.
I mean, hey, this is how we get to know what's going on with the other person.
I'm shocked.
I can still be shocked at times.
The men think this way. Shocked.
It happens. I mean,
she can't help herself.
She can't help her. Poor soul.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your contribution. And check us out tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Article Reaction. And I'll just play a commercial on the way out. Until then, peace, everyone.
Cheers, y'all.
Peace out, family.
Peace.
Hey, folks, it's your nighttime, it's your right time DJ Music. Make sure you join Char Willie each and every Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, for Article Reaction, right here on your local YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to Article Reaction.